We are indeed live. Yep.
We are live.
Yep.
Ooh.
Woohoo!
Hold up.
Yeah!
Yay! Wait.
Finally, yeah.
Woohoo! Yeah!
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
God. Absolutely, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
God, I can't stop looking at me up in the top corner. It looks so cool. Yeah.
And of course,
I'm
me all dressed up as
Sonic.
Knuckles.
Yeah.
And Luke
Yeah.
being a slob in the bottom left.
Yeah, that's practically me after Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much cheese and beer.
Melty reminds me of that one episode of the Knuckles show where Wade is dressed in the Knuckles onesie.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's
God.
intentional.
That's why that's kind of what I was going for, just having him dress up like
Excellent.
Yeah, now that I look at it, yeah, I
Perfect.
do kind of look like Wade in that pose. Yeah.
that.
Now you have to go up and beat up a puppet of Mephiles.
Yeah.
Iblis.
Iblis, yeah.
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 No, he's going to beat up someone to get issue 98 of Archie Sonic.
Yeah, I will find someone to get me issue 98 of Archie Sonic, because I ain't paying like $300 just for it.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's one of the rare issues. It goes like in the hundreds and even farther. Because like most of the time I could find issues at like 20, 30, somewhere like that. But yeah, 98 is just one of the higher ranks because it's the one that was, made to advertise Sonic Adventure 2 at the time. Yeah.
Ah, that would explain it.
Yep.
Tails.
I-
The person in the Tails costume, is that supposed to be Aaron?
Yeah.
Ah, I guess I was
Yeah.
wondering what happened to Tails.
Yeah.
Like that makes that checks out.
Yeah.
It was more of a just in case if they ended
Yeah.
up joining us in the last minute.
Yeah. Aw. Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
now what's missing is what's his name? The guy that played the school dean and came back in the second one. Neil, that's his name. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
it's not working
well.
again. Well, that just shows what happens.
Damn it, Roger.
Every
all
time,
senile.
Roger. Oh, Erin? What happened
Bleach
to
Rhoda.
Erin?
Why you drew her?
Oh, why? I just drew Erin just in case Erin would join us, but unfortunately they were too busy with work or something. I don't know. I never pay attention to
Yeah.
life around everyone else, but
Yeah.
I just thought I'd just draw Erin like as Tails just in case.
Alright. Well,
Especially since it felt a bit empty without Tails.
Yeah,
it's just like
yeah, we
Sonic
need a
and
Tails.
Knuckles.
Yeah.
Is my audio working this time? I changed something. Guess
Yeah.
I did.
I mean,
I just-
yes. Yes, it works.
Yeah.
Boy, I keep screwing that up, don't I?
Every time.
See, that's why you always
do
have a
wanna-
chill opening so we don't screw up too much, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, no, yeah, no, it's kind of weird with the character selection we have. Apparently, we have 2 Robotniks because I guess no one wanted to be Gerald.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
ask you
Oh,
to
yeah.
draw her as Gerald, but why didn't you draw her as Alex's and Gerald?
I don't know. I just thought she'd just stick with her like usual sort of Robotnik-esque attire. But
You know,
that's
fair enough.
Yeah, with the evil dot connection. Yeah.
Fair enough.
If anything, Roger should have been Gerald for the white lab coat.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
That's a good point, yeah. Whoops.
Yeah, but in the end, I just thought, might as well just make him Walters, but wearing the Chow hat.
I mean, that is what he asked for.
Yeah.
Well, not
I mean,
the
I could
Chow
have-
hat, but
Yeah. I mean, I could have drawn a few medals, but one of them could have basically just said Olive Garden member. But it was too small, so couldn't get it in.
Well, you could have just like plastered like the Olive Garden logo on it, like a big pin. It's like
Yeah, it's like I love Olive Garden.
Oh, rest in peace, Commander Walters. You will be missed.
And of course, did draw Sylvia as director Rockwell, and obviously her look on Roger is very well, justified. It's like, what are you wearing, Roger?
I think she's more angry about my microphone not working. That's
Yeah. It's like, again, Roger?
Yeah. That's the 5th time we've done it, sir.
And Elise, like, dressed up as Maria again. Though this time the more playful, energetic one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm definitely looking forward to hearing her thoughts on movie Maria, considering that big rant that she had on Maria with Shadow Generations. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Might be the polar opposite. And of course,
Yeah.
Timba as Agent Stone.
I
Holding a
take
mug
my
of
coffee savory and sweet.
Yeah. Oh, it's a latte with Austrian goat milk or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Not the way you make them.
Steamed
Yeah.
Austrian goat milk.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
I got confirmation
Luke just-
Alex is taking a quick shower and she'll jump in soon, so
Oh, okay.
she'll just pop in later.
She must freshen up for the stream.
Indeed.
Yeah.
We can smell
She's
it
gotta
through her
look
microphone.
presentable.
Yeah, especially since it's her big debut on Dissected Alive, yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, because I mean, she has done Dissected stuff before, but obviously not a live stream.
Yeah.
Nope.
So first time for that one.
Dissected Alive.
She was kind of burned out on Sonic for a long time, but Sonic
Yeah.
Frontiers and especially Shadow Generations in the movie kind of rekindled it again.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally.
Yes. Because, I think she was, pretty burned out from the meta era, because, I could definitely relate to her, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, just showing the basic line art.
I almost wanted to add a joke that they want to shake someone's hand or something, because that's the exact same pose.
Everyone's just like hands up, like, can you shake my hand, please?
Hello, nice to meet you. Hello, nice to meet you. Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Or shake your hand.
Yeah, and me, it's like, hey, I want to shake your hand, and then I accidentally, crush them because I'm Knuckles.
Yeah. Almost.
Oops.
Yeah, almost feels like they're just like that sort of moment when you go to like a wedding reception and you have to shake everyone's hand, like congratulating them. It feels like that's them just.
You got out? Anyway, Sala,
Like,
Sala looks so depressed and having
It's
to
not
shake
my
hands.
hand. Yeah.
I don't know,
Yes.
Salah? I think Salah looks a bit more disappointed. It's like, why is no one shaking
Yeah.
my hand?
Yeah. No, maybe
It's
it's like, why is my hand so big? Yeah.
Why am I shorter than everyone?
Why would have a joy buzzer?
You're
the
a
only
joy
s-
buster.
I'm the only Sonic OC here with actual Sonic proportions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point, yeah. You and a melter, human size.
Yeah.
You and Luke. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like everyone's mostly the same height. Elise is a little shorter, and then Sal's the shortest. Yeah.
Poor Sala.
I'm small.
Anyway, shall we have our quick opinions about the movie? Just kind of brief, just so the audience knows what we're up to.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
non-spoiler.
Sonic Free. Sonic Free the movie. Everybody, Sonic Free was a thing.
Sonic
It
is
was a
free.
thing.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Sonic 3 is a thing on the Genesis. Yuck.
Yes, everyone's opinion about the video game Sonic 3. There you go, Melty, start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you sad that the jungle set on fire in the first level?
No, that was I don't know. That was Bob.
Bob the Fire.
Bob Iger.
Yeah, or Bob the mech thing that was shooting fire, or whatever the hell.
Oh, that
it's
thing.
called.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I call it Bob because there's always room for a Bob. But yeah, so quick non-spoiler thoughts on the movie. It's yeah, I really loved it. Like the first film was kind of just okay, and then the second film got better, and then the third film was definitely peak, which is quite funny with how second sequels in films usually tend to be like, you know, the weaker entry and usually like the black sheep of the family. But this one just kind of went, yeah, fuck that rule. We're gonna be like super epic and super epic and awesome and everything. And yeah, I love it.
Alrighty. Sala, you're next.
Okay, so Sonic 3 on the Genesis was... No, I'm kidding. The movie was absolutely fantastic. I have only minor gripes with it, but we'll get into that later when we're talking about spoilers. In general, definitely the best movie in the franchise so far. Absolutely phenomenal. Loved it. Cannot wait to watch it again and again.
Same.
Well, it's coming out on streaming soon, so you'll be able to.
Very soon, yeah. Just a few more days.
Yeah, well, I'm still gonna be waiting around for physical Blu-ray release because I'm just that old-fashioned, and you know I want my movie Sonic physical collection to be complete. Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Proudly display on your shelf, like, look, my empty shelf, with only, but it's only worthy to hold 3 DVDs.
No, I've got like small shit. I have smaller shelves than other DVDs. At this point, I'm running out of room. And I'm like, yeah, fuck it, physical media all the way.
Put a shelf up.
Yeah, if I had a room.
Yeah.
Like maybe one of these days I'll like move into like a 2-room apartment or whatnot. That way I'll have much more room to
Yeah.
fill in all my DVDs and the ones that are still at my parents' house.
Just gotta make sure you beware of Sleet and Dingo,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
because they have a habit of destroying shelves.
Yes. Luke could
Yeah.
very much tell you that.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of
Also,
which,
when putting up a picture frame, do not use blue tack. I learned that the hard way.
Alright. Duly noted.
I'm just surprised you actually thought using blue tack for a picture frame was a good idea.
Well, I don't want to drill a hole in or anything or ruin the wall. I thought, I've said that the blue tack's like really strong in that, so I tried to put as many blue tack around it, but it didn't work. So I'd use these things that could stick on the wall, and that seems to work.
Good.
alrighty.
There'll be a pain in the butt to get it off the wall.
Well, house decorating is always fun. Luke, what is your thoughts on the movie?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's really amazing that after 5 years we got a really good Sonic movie, because it started off like an alien buddy movie, and then gradually it became more Sonic, then it became less Sonic, and now it became really good Sonic. I mean, in my honest opinion, I kind of prefer the second one, as that's more geared towards those who grew up with the Mega Drive Genesis games, and this one's geared towards those who grew up with the Dreamcast games. But I really enjoyed the action. They dialed back the human scenes, but and also this is probably the most Jim Carrey movie I ever see Jim Carrey be in since the 90s. So yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Double your villains, double your fun.
It's the renaissance of Jim Carrey, yeah.
Indeed, indeed. Timba, lucky to you, not Mufasa. But what's your thoughts on the movie?
I found myself in a very take it or leave it mood with this movie. Similar thoughts with Lego. Thought like it did good on dialing back the human parts, but I'll be honest, like Sonic in a movie format isn't really my thing, but it's got its high points, got its low points. I'll go into it when we go into spoiler territory.
Alrighty. So, Ewan, your thoughts?
That's not my thoughts. That's someone's dog. Anyway,
Sorry, I'll be right back.
Anyway, well, I do think Sonic 3 is obviously without a doubt the best of the Sonic movie series so far. I mean, if you haven't seen it yet in the cinema, I do strongly recommend that you go and see it on the big screen. Otherwise, you'll regret it when you watch it on the small screen, being like, oh, I really should have watched it on the big screen. Because that's what happened with everyone who decided not to watch Transformers 1, because after they watched it, like on like the streaming services, they were all like, no, I wish I actually saw this in the cinemas. It would have been epic. And I think that's how Sonic 3 is best viewed, like on the big screen for epicness.
Oh yes. Yeah, definitely.
whether it being like 4DX or Screen X, where you get to see more of the screen and yet just have awkward character moments of where they just like pull the dumbest faces whilst something is happening on the middle screen.
Or seeing in a drive-through theater.
If those things still exist.
Yeah, I know they still exist. They're just in like specific locations over the world. Yeah.
Very specific.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one not too far from me actually. In fact, I think it's the closest theater to where I live.
Ah.
Oh, that's California for you. Nice weather and of course movie
Yeah.
land. Right, I was gonna ask Elise,
I mean-
but she left. So, oh wait, I go ahead.
I'm back.
Your thoughts on the movie?
I really liked it. I think movie 2 though has better pacing than this one, but I have to say that I loved all the energy that was in this movie. I liked how they took elements from the games and they adapted them for movie format, but it's not an exact one-to-one. They do take creative liberties. But you can tell that this is made by people who actually genuinely love the Sonic series and they wanted to pay tribute or pay homage to the series, and it shows. And I also like the message of the film as well, and I think it's one that we desperately need right now. And I also really liked the characters, and I liked how we got to see Sonic actually interact with Tails and Knuckles as a team. Something we don't really get much in the game, but it shows that, yeah, these three, they do need each other. So I really liked that.
That's
So
a good
yeah,
angle.
overall,
Sorry, yeah, that's
yeah,
a good
overall,
angle.
yeah. Especially, still not spoiler, but especially at the end, it shows that, yeah, these three, they do need each other, and they are better off having met each other. So, yeah, I really liked it, and I can't wait for it to come out on streaming, and I will be getting a physical copy as soon as it comes out. But yeah, and also, I'm not a huge live action movie goer. I'm more into animation, but movies like Sonic are ones I make an exception for. So,
I mean, half the movie's animated anyway.
yeah. And I gotta say, also very well animated. Like, I applaud the animators for the Sonic characters and also the visual effects and stuff. They did an outstanding job.
Indeed, they did. Alrighty.
Yeah, so very good. I'd say I give it either a 7.5 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10. I'm leaning more towards an 8 because I think it was very good.
I'd probably give it a 9.
Ooh, my.
Same.
I do have some critique of the film, or I do have some criticism of the film. But I can talk about that when we go into spoiler territory. But overall, it was really good.
Yeah, I think most of us have like a little
Yeah.
like negative quips towards the film, but it's it's like at least for the most part it was enjoyable. But
Yeah.
what exactly our quips are, we'll find out later on in the stream, ladies and gentlemen.
Dun, dun,
So
dun.
stay
And-
tuned.
How exciting.
And
I
there was
wonder if-
heart. There was
I mean-
heart in this film.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I wonder how much our critiques are going to overlap, or if we're all going to have different problems.
I feel, well, knowing Roger, he'll probably try and stick out like out of the rest of us.
Yeah, am I always that weird? Alright.
Well, I mean, considering what happened last time when you did the first film, so
Yeah, the negative wave.
oh yeah, a little too far into the negative way. Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't been able.
Him then being the negative wave of it all.
yeah.
I wasn't in a good mind spot, no. Anyway, yeah, I loved the movie Free. I thought it had a great, the essence was right, the energy was right. I do have a few issues indeed, mostly surrounding Gerald Robotnik. Although, I do love him at the same time. I mean, my complaint with Shared Generations was that he was kind of too generic and I wanted him to be more like Eggman, and that's exactly what I get in this one. But, of course, there's other elements, but we'll discuss that later. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great, and we'll go into spoilers later. There we go. Yeah, our guest Alex is still not here, so
Yeah.
I guess we'll hear our thoughts later. As far as I can tell,
By
she
the-
loved the movie.
Yeah, hence why I gave her that expression.
She's evil.
I
She's
love
calling us.
this movie.
What I already know from her opinion is that she wanted Maria Shadow's backstory to get a lot more focus. She thought that was not done enough justice. So, other than that, she enjoyed it. But we'll hear that later. All right, I think I had everyone now who's shown up. So
I have to say though, on Maria and Shadow's backstory, it's got way more than the games.
that is
It may not have
absolutely
as
true.
much screen time, but it still says a lot more than in the games. I'm just saying.
I mean, just seeing them in actual normal rooms with furniture and actually doing actual science things is already better than the games, because the games just shows them in abstract, meaningless rooms. I have no idea how they what they do there.
Yeah.
Well, also it's a show don't tell, which is a common rule in writing, something I'm very, very, very familiar with. But and this was something that always bothered me in the games, and it was amplified in Shadow Generations, where it's that you just had the characters standing around talking about stuff.
Oh yeah.
And also, as I said, Maria doesn't talk about herself all that much. She always talks about Shadow, and so it's like I still know nothing about her. And everything that seems to be about her is either from external sources and not in the game itself, and that's annoying.
And in the movie, she never talks about herself, and yet we do learn a lot about her. So amazing.
Well, she shows.
Yes.
She shows us her interests. So, like, that's, as I said, show don't tell. So it's she doesn't need to. She shows it.
I really wish the games learned that. Yeah, the cutscenes have been annoying me for a very long time. How boring and dull they are.
But yeah, that's definitely pretty much why I'd give this one a very high ranking. It's like, yeah, Sonic Movie 3 just really works, and just, let the visuals just tell the story, and have, little dialogue here and there, It works a lot better when
That's
done
why I
right.
praise the energy. There's a lot more energy here than the games had. Minus the Supersonic Fights of Frontiers, but it's like the only... But yeah, that's enough of that. Shall we move on to the synopsis of the movie?
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Act 1 of the synopsis, yeah.
Okay.
We gotta split it across all of us, otherwise it's just one person talking for an hour or something. Well, I'm gonna assume most people watching this video already saw the movie, so we're gonna keep it relatively brief. Not as much as...
We are going to keep it relatively brief, and I even went out to remind everyone to keep it brief, because I'm looking at my synopsis, because I'm doing the opening part, and because there's a lot of details in an opening act, I realize, oh god, mine is a little wordy already.
Yeah.
Even
Celine
after
Ewan
trimming
said
it
in the
down.
mail, like Celine Ewan said in the thing, spoiler.
Oh, guess who's
warning.
here?
Hey!
Oh,
Hey.
Hey!
Our special guest has arrived, Alex.
Oh,
hey,
my-
Yeah, just in time.
Hey, yo! Can you guys hear me?
Yes, can you put
Yeah.
on your volume a
Ish.
little higher?
Let me try.
How exciting.
At perfect timing.
That's-
Or just,
Yeah.
Go ahead, guys. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Is it better now?
Yeah, a little better. Can you put it a little higher?
you can just turn it up yourself. You just right click on her name and
Oh, right. can
adjust
I do
volume.
that? Oh my goodness. I
Wait.
should
I mean, you run the stream, so yeah.
have. I run, quote unquote. Yeah.
Wait,
technically.
wait. If I speak like that, is
Yes,
it
this
okay?
sounds great. Thank you. Can you give
Okay.
us your opinion about the movie? We just finished with ours, so perfect timing. What have you thought about movie 3, briefly?
No spoilers.
I can spoil, right?
Technically,
not
you
yet.
can spoil. Yeah, I'm fine.
Well, you might as well at least. I mean, we've given everyone spoiler warnings by now.
Okay.
Spoil it.
I think it started fine until the Tokyo fight. After that, I think the movie pretty much was hijacked by Jim Carrey, which it disappointed me because I went there and I wanted to be devastated, but the movie is barely about Shadow. But I have I think that many plot holes in that movie could be fixed with a sequel. So I will keep it that way for now. Rogers knows what I think.
Yeah, I already gave a brief synopsis.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the weird thing about modern movies. Like, now everything is like a movie universe, so even if there's a plot hole, like, any sequel can jump in. Although it's not always a perfect solution, because sometimes that means you get a payoff to a story that isn't properly told yet, so then it's still kind of awkward storytelling.
But just think about it. This could be a freaking awesome revenge movie.
Yeah, we'll see what's gonna happen next, because if we're gonna get more backstory on Gunn, then there's a lot of interesting ways how this can unfold. But we'll talk about that later when we talk specifically about.
And what's the other things about the youth serum theory?
Oh, well, we'll talk about that later. Now we're gonna do a synopsis of the whole movie, and then we're gonna talk about all the parts one by one. But yes, we'll talk about your little theory on youth serums, indeed. So there's a lot of interesting things. Right now we're going to do a synopsis. The other people is going to say the story of the movie for the viewers. Just to get it done, I guess. So for now, just sit and wait till they're finished, I suppose. And then we'll talk about the specifics. So, Sala, are you ready?
Yes. Okay. The movie begins on Prison Island, which is apparently outside of Tokyo Bay. A pair of guards are watching over a cryogenically frozen Shadow. Just as the guards are talking about how Shadow hasn't moved in 50 years, his heart rate suddenly increases. What interesting timing. The system is being hijacked by someone with a familiar-looking logo. Prison Island immediately goes into lockdown, but Shadow escapes from his stasis capsule and effortlessly dispatches the soldiers and escapes, immediately skating across the bay to get to Tokyo. Meanwhile, back in the great state of Montana, Tails and Knuckles are challenging Sonic to a race. Sonic is naturally not taking the race seriously, however Tails and Knuckles seemingly keep up with him. Sonic kicks it up a notch as Goldfinger's cover of 99 Red Balloons plays. Sonic passes a makeshift goal sign post, but Tails and Knuckles appear to already be there. But it turns out they're just holograms designed to distract Sonic while everyone else sets up a surprise birthday party for Sonic. As they celebrate, Sonic stumbles across his old cave. Sonic laments on Longclaw and wonders if she'd be proud of him. Tom reassures Sonic that he never let his pain change who he was in his heart, while pointing at his chest, in what I can only call absolutely beautiful foreshadowing. After the sun has set, Gunn sends the helicopter Sigma Alpha 2 to pick up Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles to help deal with Shadow in Tokyo. The helicopter uses a warp ring to get to Japan quickly, where it is somehow still nighttime despite it also now being nighttime in Montana. The Wachowskis know how to keep a party going. Anyway, they arrive in Japan, meaning that the movie has officially left Montana, which means I'm no longer interested. Next person, go.
Who's doing the Tokyo portion again?
It was as fast as the movie.
Yeah.
Gotta go faster, faster.
Who was the next person?
Um.
I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't
no
think
one
we.
did that.
No one claimed it. Cool. Great teamwork, guys.
I'll do it. I guess.
Oh wait, I thought Ewan claimed it because you know what the whole London deal. Yeah.
No, Ewan was too busy with everything else.
Well, we're greatly organized. I'll do it. Anyway, so the Sonic and friends, they meet up with Shadow. Shadow calls them a colorful bunch, and they immediately start fighting. So Shadow defeats all of them except for Sonic. They have a bit of a chase. They destroy half of Tokyo. Wonderful. But Shadow gets away, of course, by the end, and Sonic is knocked out. They go to the Chow Garden to meet up with Commander Walters, my favorite character. We got a lot of stupid jokes about Pikachu. And Walter starts giving us his version of the backstory that where Sonic had a lot of friends when he came to Earth. Shadow only knew pain. Because anyway, then suddenly the Chow Garden gets attacked. Missiles fly in, and Commander Walters shockingly dies. Apparently, or maybe not. We don't know. But he seems to be out. And he says something cryptic that he only trusts Sonic to have his secret MacGuffin key. That's the secret to all the secrets of secret stuff that's happening. Anyway, somehow Sonic and friends immediately know... wait, I'm skipping a couple parts. So apparently Eggman's robots are the ones who shot the missiles. But a mysterious person on a motorbike comes in and takes them out. So Sonic and friends immediately chase after him. Surprisingly being able to keep up with him, even though they were actually having a talk with Walters right after first. But oh well. I guess there's not many motorcycles in the entirety of Tokyo. They meet up with a mysterious person who ends up being Agent Stone himself, who brings them to his crab base to explain that no, Eggman is actually not the bad guy this time. So they go inside and they see scary Robotnik. When is the next one coming in? We're at the base, right? Okay, so they meet up with Robotnik. He's all big and fat because he kind of gave up after his fall last time. But now he knows that someone is abusing his own robots. It's personal, so he wants to take revenge. So he's actually teaming up with Sonic temporarily to see what's happening. They discover where the signals are coming from of the person who's guiding his robots. So they immediately go to whatever secret hidden gun base that's it's going on here. Is this still my portion? Man, we're greatly organized today.
You haven't even gotten to the London part yet.
Yeah, that's my turf.
Okay.
Wait, don't they? No, they go to the lab first.
Yeah, the lab, the gun. That's the old gun base, the ancient one from the 70s.
Yeah, I guess I could do this part with the old gun base.
Sure, go ahead.
Anyway, they arrive at the old gun base and they start investigating. But prior to that, Shadow had arrived before them, and as he's walking around, he gets a flashback of when he first met Maria, as well as their time together. And then he arrives to the room where he assumedly found his old pod that he had been placed in. And then he is confronted by somebody who tells him, I lured you here, Shadow, essentially. Sonic and Eggman and their crew, they enter the base, and then they split up to see what's going on. Knuckles goes by himself, Tails goes with Agent Stone, and Sonic goes with Eggman. And Shadow goes around Terminator style, picking them off one by one. And then Shadow then confronts Sonic and captures him. And then Eggman runs into Gerald Robotnik, who is alive for some reason, even though he's over like 110 years old. We don't know why, but since he has Shadow's quill, we can only assume that maybe that has something to do with it. Anyway, the Sonic gang are now chained up and are being threatened to be absorbed into a black hole, while Jim Carrey's Robotniks and Agent Stone and Shadow head out to destroy GUN base. Like, luckily, Team Sonic has a ring, and so they use that to escape, and they make it outside, even though they're still chained up, and then they realize they have to go back to Tom and Maddie to get some help.
Right, I'm up next. I had Ewan help write this up for me because this is my neck of the woods. Right. So in London, Team Dark involving Gerald, Shadow, Stone and Robotnik turn up at Butler's Wharf, with Robotnik emerging in style from a sewer. Robotnik and Gerald go infiltrate the gun base, and Stone and Shadow go to the crab mech to make revenge guac. Sonic waits on the London Eye with Tails somewhere, and Knux is on Big Ben, eager to break some glass. Tom and Maddie infiltrate the gun base by using holograms to alter their faces to look like Rachel and Randall. After a very awkward moment with Rachel, the two get through. After Tom's brief face malfunction and avoiding Director Rockwell, Tom and Maddie get into the server room to use Tails' USB pen to disable the barrier. It wasn't working. Tails blows on it the old-fashioned way and it starts working, only to discover that another USB pen drive is in use, resembling Eggman. It seems that Robotnik and Gerald are already in the base in a new high-tech spandex suit that enables them to be invisible. Gerald has a go at Robotnik as they make their way to the laser corridor. At the crab mech, Stone is finding Shadow a bit suspicious about Gerald's plan, as Tails finds them putting on a Cockney accent and flushing them down the sewer. Now, at the laser corridor, Robotnik pushes Gerald into the beams where affects the suit, making the lasers become just as harmless as lasers at a disco. Cue awesome sexy dance scene with the Robotniks darting to galvanized by the Chemical Brothers. Tails then says that the Eggmen are nearing the vault, so Sonic runs to the gun base against Tails' wishes, but decides to take a quick tour of London by seeing the crown jewels and forgetting Ringo Starr's name. After launching off Tower Bridge, Sonic realizes that he can't make the barrier as it reforms, but Tails comes in to give him enough momentum to get through. The Robotniks enter the key room, but it's trapped with gravity pads. The green one makes you hover, and the red ones make you stuck to the ground. Sonic rushes through the gun base to the key room, only to get trapped in the gravity fall as well. Sergeant Rockwell enters along with Tom, Maddie and Tails as prisoners. Then it's Knuckles' turn to help things out, destroying Big Ben, which usually happens, and smashes into the gun base. Knuckles finds the control pad and destroys it, throwing the gravity pads out of whack, along with the key. With Robotnik and Rockwell on the ground, they both do the worm to get it. Tom, Maddie, and Tails, while stuck to the ground, see metal pipes pulled towards them. Sonic uses all of his strength to get out of the gravity pad and save them, with his chaos energy disabling the gravity floor. Rockwell gets the key and makes off with it. Only to be stopped by Commander Walters, who is really Tom in disguise, he convinces Rockwell to give him the key. Suddenly, Tom gets stopped by Shadow, who thinks it's actually Walters. Tom tried to say it's not him, but Shadow goes and punches Tom in the chest, knocking him out and badly injures him. Sonic freaks out, saying, "What did you do?" Shadow replies, "What I had to do," and disappears with the key. Shadow gives the key to Gerald, as they can now access the Eclipse Cannon, where Gerald gives his grandson a brand new suit. Agent Stone, after swimming out of the damaged crab mech from the River Thames, phones Robotnik to warn him that Gerald and Shadow are up to something, but Ivo brushes this off as jealousy and fires Stone, but only after getting him copied into being cloned. The two Robotniks insert the keys and prepares for launch.
Next, the space.
Oh yes, it's my time.
Over to you, Melty!
It's my time to shine. So right, the Robotniks have inserted the keys. The Eclipse Cannon has now been activated and launches. Sonic, now pretty much desperate and worried about Tom's well-being, pretty much demands the location of the Master Emerald. At first, Knuckles doesn't want to do this, knowing that they must protect the Master Emerald, and that Sonic is full of rage and hatred, and it looks like they're about to duke it out, but still, he decides to warn Sonic that the Master Emerald is guarded by a fierce warrior, and of course it's Wade. But of course Sonic shows in, swipes it away, and that's all the screen time you get. It's like, yeah, you had too much fun in the Knuckles miniseries already. It's alright, so Sonic goes all Super Sonic, and then, Gerald and Robotnik, of course, enjoy their new fancy duds, as they are getting ready to fire up the cannon, in which Gerald reveals his dark secret about the weapon, as it turns out that he's... Oh, no, wait, I think I skipped a scene. Oh, yeah, it was, so Shadow, fires up the cannon and whatnot, and Gerald's like, yes, it's almost complete. Is this what Maria wanted? It's like, no, it's not just what Maria wanted, it's what they deserve. And then we get the full backstory of showing, Shadow, Gerald, and Maria on the run while the gun soldiers are trying to, take them down, take away Shadow. And, then we have... one of the gun soldiers about to fire, but then the young Commander Walters tries to stop it, and instead of shooting Maria, it just shoots a bunch of explosives, which, goes off and, of course, kills off Maria. A very sad moment, but I'm sure knowing the Sonic fan base, somewhere in a movie theater, someone is jerking off to Maria's death for the umpteenth time.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, blame it on the Sonic Symphony, assholes! But yeah, anyway, so we get back to Gerald and Robotnik getting ready, in which we reveal Gerald's dark secret is that once the cannon is fired, it will not only destroy the Earth, but it'll destroy them in the process. Pretty much shows that the whole thing was a suicide mission, to which Robotnik is not quite a fan of this idea. But of course, Gerald brushes off, like, oh, humanity is a mistake, blah, 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 and still getting over the grief. And then in comes Super Sonic, who pretty much snatches Shadow away, and they both, fight it out, pew, pew, pew. And then Shadow, punches the emeralds out of Sonic. And then they both dive in. It's like, oh, now they're both super. And then more fight, GG. And especially when, they pretty much launch them, they dash over to the moon and whatnot, and Sonic's about to deliver the final blow, in which Shadow is surprisingly very, come on, Sonic, do it! You have your revenge! But then Sonic, knowing Tom's words of wisdom, he quietly, lets go, and his power energy dies down, in which he reveals that there are no winners when it comes to revenge. To which Shadow reflects upon this by looking at the stars, remembering the good times he had with Maria. So he's willing to do the right thing, where Sonic and Shadow decide to team up to defeat Gerald, and then Live and Learn starts playing, and then they go super again. Oh my god, it's so fucking epic. And then, Robotnik and Gerald are having their tussle there in the fight, and then Gerald's like, oh, Shadow, now you've betrayed me, and then sends out a bunch of guns robots, which are surprisingly very accurate to their game designs. But the robots came flying in, and then Sonic and Shadow go all pew 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 and defeat the robots, bam bam bam, and then Robotnik and Gerald continue their fight, going all, the robot claws and everything, and then, Robotnik's about to die from being, sucked into space, which of course gives us a pretty funny parody on the whole any last words cliche. So it looks like Robotnik is dead, but no, it turns out Tails and Knuckles came to the rescue. And then Robotnik delivers the finishing blow by shoving a supersonic quill right up Gerald's ass, which sends him flying into the Chaos Force and dies. So after that, oh crap, we can't reverse the controls, so we might as well steer the the whole spaceship away from it. So the cannon fires, but Super Shadow and Sonic use their powers to like try and stop the force, all while Robotnik and the others are trying to steer the ship away from Earth. And they just managed to do that. Like Sonic loses his energy, but they managed to save the world. Yay! But they end up accidentally slicing off a bit of the moon instead. To which Robotnik blames the furry characters for doing so. So they see Sonic fall into his doom, Knuckles and Tails go off to the rescue, and Robotnik does his final act by, if I can't rule the world, I might as well save it! While Super Shadow tries to push the Ark away from it, it does so by removing his inhibitor rings. So we get this big tearful goodbye, Gerald probably dies in this one, and then Shadow also, but they manage to steer the ship away from Earth far enough so that it doesn't like damage or anything. And then Tails tries to save Sonic, but he passes out. But then Knuckles comes to the rescue, my best boy in movie Knuckles, and they all use the warp ring to land somewhere safely in some farm crops. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. The day is saved, they all get reunited, have a good time, yay! And we find out Tom is alive. He's just still recovering. And then the movie ends. But wait, there's more! As we find out in a post-credit scene that Sonic's found himself somewhere in New York, and he gets attacked by Metal Sonic, dun dun dun! And then, they're about to fight it out of it, but it turns out there's actually more of them. Oh my god, it's the Brotherhood of Metallics! So they're but then, a swinging hammer comes by and saves the day, in which Sonic's like, who are you? And then we get, Amy Rose! And then the theater erupts in, yay, Amy Rose, yeah! And then, of course, we have one more scene with the post-credits scene where, despite Shadow making his big sacrifice, this won't be the last time we'll be seeing this particular version of the Hedgehog. The end.
Yay! That was awkward, but we did it. Hooray!
Finally got there in the end. Hooray!
Yay!
Huzzah!
Hey.
It's like I was seeing the movie in my head.
Yeah.
1-to-1 exact.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so the plan is that we now go through each character. We just each have our say about what do you think of the characters. I mean, I'm sure Shadow and Gerald's gonna get the most information, but we'll go through all of them, I guess, quickly. And not everyone has to say everything about every character. If you have nothing to say about it, then just never mind. I guess we start with Sonic. So, anyone has anything to say about how Sonic was portrayed in this movie?
Yeah, I like
Okay,
Sonic. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Elise, you
we're
said.
talking at once.
That was my fault. I didn't organize. Elise, you first. You first.
Actually, you guys go.
Well,
Yeah, you guys go
please.
first.
Melty?
Ewan?
I thought you was going first.
Like, wait.
Someone needs to make
I assumed like you and Salah were like eager just to say what you thought of Sonic, but then suddenly Roger says, what do you think of it? It's like, why am I being put on the spot? all the
I
time?
heard your voice.
Okay, someone needs to type a link.
We can
Listen
just
in
go
the chat, so
alphabetically
that we
by
can better
our Discord
organize it
names.
like-
Alphabetically. Okay, Alex, do you have anything to say about Sonic?
Ah. Me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything about Sonic?
I don't quite like that they tried to make a one-to-one comparison with Shadow's pain and Sonic's pain with this stupid owl.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Longclaw and Maria's quite different indeed.
Yeah.
Because, like you said to me, Longclaw is more the tragic death of a war, but there's at least some. I mean, you're in a fight with the Echidna, so there's more of a logic to it. While Maria's a lot more tragic, especially since Shadow's actually locked up in gun.
And I don't quite like that they tried to push that idea at the very first minutes of the movies, like that. There's Tom saying that, "Oh, Sonic, you didn't change because of this. Why the fuck you would change because of that?"
That's right. He didn't really have any comprehension. Nothing really happened to him. He could just do his own thing. And besides, how does Tom know Sonic didn't change? Maybe Sonic did change a lot. Tom didn't know what he was like on Green Hill Zone. But that's me being a nerd, I guess.
Just generic, like,
Yeah,
what do you say to your child 101?
I guess so.
Yeah, Yeah, that was one thing that always bothered me about the first film when Sonic's like having his anxiety. It's like, oh, maybe Longclaw was right of like, moving here. And like Tom never asked him on who the fuck Longclaw is. It's like, yeah. I was expecting like a quick flashback. Nope. Tom just bursts off like, huh, Longclaw. Must have been the name of a rock in Sonic's world or something. I don't care.
Yeah, like nobody cares about that. Oh,
No, nobody does.
Nah.
Well, to be fair, it's implied that he has lived with Tom and Maddie for quite some time now, so maybe he did tell them about Longclaw
I have to assume so.
off
yeah.
screen.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So,
'Cause,
and also, I don't think it's necessarily not a one, because tragedy is tragedy, and you lose loved ones, no matter what the circumstances. So, yeah, I would say Shadow did lose Maria to what was essentially senseless violence, whereas with Sonic, it was more, I'd say, tied to his story with Knuckles, because Sonic and Knuckles, they both lost loved ones during war. So, like, Sonic lost Longclaw when she saved his life, by sending him to another planet where the echidnas couldn't find him. And then Knuckles lost his father when they went to, fight the owls and Longclaw.
yeah, it was fair.
And it was Alex her point.
Yeah.
So that's why it's kind of weird that they.
It was fair. The problem with Maria is it was an injustice.
Yes.
So it's different. Because
Yeah.
I went to the movie with a lot of normies, like they don't care about Sonic, but it looked like a cool movie, so they wanted to go there, and many, especially girls, they all wanted more Shadow and Maria stuff, and they wanted to root for Shadow.
Mm-hmm.
So so they didn't quite like the comparison with the old.
Oh yeah.
Because it's not the same thing. It's like Maria's death is infuriating. The old is like,
This sucks, but tragic. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely hope they're going back to Gun. I mean, there's rumors about that Shadow TV show, so I mean, there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot we don't quite understand about Gun yet. So.
Yeah, I guess I'm looking at it from the angle where it's like when Knuckles and Sonic, they lost loved ones due to war, and war, in a way, is also an injustice.
That's true. But yeah, but Sonic and Knuckles, it works a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah, it does work because they both lost loved ones to tragedy. And when there was a peaceful resolution, they managed to find, but for everybody else before them, it was too late.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it was reached by the two of them at some point, which is good. And yes, for Shadow and Maria's death was senseless because GUN just came in guns blazing, ready to kill even children. And Shadow, it's being essentially young at this point, he doesn't understand like how people could be so cruel. Whereas, yeah, and then I also I understand Gerald's point of view where it's like, okay, he basically feels like he lost everything, and so he's like, to heck with this world, I'm gonna destroy it and myself because, as he said, humanity was just a failed experiment.
Especially since both of them are immediately locked up for 50 years, so they don't have a normal life to get back to get over it. Like, they're just stuck in a hole, just consuming on this bitterness for 50 years. So, kind of makes sense. They're completely broken by the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is a question of, okay, do you condemn the sins of a few, or do you condemn the many for the sins of a few? Like, that's the question.
That's a very good question. Yeah. And
I think the answer is no. Yeah, and I think the answer is no, but it can take only a few to stop the cycle of violence, which is what I think Shadow and Sonic being the first, because Shadow also attacked Tom senselessly. So Shadow, I think it was more about Tom, because Shadow attacked him, this innocent civilian who was unarmed, had nothing to do with the conflict. And so Shadow became essentially what he hated.
By mistake.
So,
Yeah, he thought he was fighting.
Yeah, but I know it was by mistake, but still. And also, Walters didn't pose a threat at the time. Shadow just attacked him out of rage.
But Walter drowned Shadow.
Well, he didn't.
drown him because Shadow
he-
survived,
Yeah,
He just put him in
and they
stasis.
knew he would survive.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
just isolated, or kept
Well, also,
in-
it makes me wonder.
I
Walter's,
will be pissed.
Walter. Yeah, well, at the time, like, how much power and control did Walter have in GUN at the time? He just seemed to be there as any soldier, and yeah, he did try to stop them from shooting Maria and Shadow. So he was actively trying to stop them, but then it's like, okay, how much authority did he have in this situation? I'm going to assume not much.
Not much. He was just a captain at the time, but he did state that he is the one who decided to put Shadow into stasis.
Makes me wonder why he did it, though.
That's a very good
Yeah.
question. I wish the movie went into that. I guess you have to.
Yeah,
wait for
and
the
here's
sequel.
and also maybe here's the thing. Maybe he did it as a mercy, not as a punishment.
That is probably the right answer if Walters is a good guy, but we'll see.
Yeah, because it's like, they came to take Shadow away and possibly even kill him. But I don't know, maybe Walter putting him in stasis was like, okay, he's out of the way, but he's not dead.
Yeah, that's what we think. That he's trying to save him from all the rest of the gun. But yeah, this was technically the Sonic portion of this conversation.
Yeah, this was the Sonic portion. I
Sorry.
will say.
Yeah,
I
go
will
ahead.
say, I do think Longclaw and Maria are somewhat comparable, and because like they were both killed by someone in like in a stupid, like senseless point of violence, but like the difference here is like Sonic could have sought revenge like Shadow does, but because he had emotional support from people, he was able to not like let that change him, and that was kind of the point Tom was making, and that's like that comes full circle when Tom gets hurt and suddenly Sonic goes down the exact same path Shadow does, and Shadow like even calls him out on this.
Yeah, but Tom is not dead.
Sonic didn't know that. Sonic
yeah,
didn't
but
know
didn't
that.
know at the time. Yeah.
He was in an
Was
ambulance.
critically injured, and Sonic said he was fighting for his life. So it's like, okay, he
Yeah.
possibly could die.
Mhm.
They don't
Yeah.
know. He didn't know at the time that Tom was going to live. It's like
There's
his
still hope,
life
though.
was hanging in the balance. So, he was hanging on by a thread.
Yeah, but there's still hope,
And-
though.
Yeah, and the point is that Sonic is wrong regardless.
Yeah, it reminds me of the animated Disney movie Fox and the Hound, when Chief got hurt while chasing Todd. Originally, they
Yeah.
were going to have it that Chief was going to be killed off, but they thought it was too dark for kids, so instead they just had him be critically injured. But that was still enough to send Amos and Copper off the deep end and seek revenge. But, it's like,
Wasn't
yeah,
it?
it's...
More about listening to your nature or something like that. Because I think that the movie was more about you're supposed to do this because you're the hound. So he accepted his
Well,
his
originally- well,
nature.
No, it's like, yeah, Copper is a hunting dog, but also he and Todd were friends, but then also Todd before he was sent to the reserve, he was technically a pet. So I don't think hunting dogs are supposed to hunt pets. It's just Amos was a
Plus,
bit trigger happy.
Plus, the reason Copper decides to hunt Todd is because Chief got hurt.
Yes.
That's the point here.
Yes.
It's just for revenge again.
But also, you'll notice at the beginning, though, Shadow, after he was released, he didn't seem to have an interest in revenge at all. In fact, one of the things he said as GUN was pursuing him was, "Why don't you leave me alone?"
That is a good point.
You know, it's like he didn't have any interest in revenge. It was Gerald who wanted revenge, and he recruited Shadow.
That is a
And he
good
put
point.
the idea in Shadow's head.
That is
Yeah.
a good
So-
point. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If the
Okay.
revenge plot was about getting revenge on Gunn, Would you guys root for Shadow?
Yes.
That is the important question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my normie friends, they wanted that.
Well, in the Knuckles show, Gunn was mostly the bad guys too. I mean, the gun soldiers in that show were doing it outside of Walter's knowledge. So I guess Walters is supposed to be
They
one
were
of the good
renegades,
guys.
though.
They were renegades, yeah. But there is a
Yeah,
lot of like evil guns. There's something running inside of them.
Yeah.
Not Gunn as a whole, but there's definitely something going on. Yeah.
Yeah, Rockwell is definitely corrupt, as were the agents from the Knuckles show. There is a lot of bad people in Gunn, and with Walter's gone, it feels like Gunn no longer has the excuse of like, oh, there's good people in it. There obviously is good people. Not everyone is terrible. We can't just blame everyone for the actions of a few, but still,
I
like,
assume Rachel
Walters
and Randall are supposed
was-
to be good guys. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, Walters was the one who like justified any of their actions with like his kind of logic. He's like, this is something that we had to do. This is not something we wanted to do. But everyone else in Gunn seems to not think that far ahead. They seem to think more in the moment of like, oh, these things are dangerous. They need to be dealt with.
I kind of like the idea that this kind of recontextualized Walters, where in the first two movies it seems like a weird of a doofus who does stupid things. Now it kind of comes across like he's just trying to keep the rest of Gunn at a distance. So just being a bit of a doofus just to keep Gunn kind of occupied or kind of like waste their energy on other things. Maybe this is me, but.
I feel
I
as
mean-
though that I feel as though Walter's role still should have been filled by someone playing as the gun commander from the games.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Maybe
someone
we'll get the Gun
antagonistic-
Commander, a more aggressive version after him.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm pretty sure Walters really is just, Movie Sonic's take on the Gun Commander. I mean, like
Yeah.
the way they established him, this was definitely
Yeah.
way before the Shadow cartoon decided to incorporate Archie Sonic's take of naming the Gun Commander Abraham Towers. So,
Yeah, I agree with you, Tim. He should have been
And-
more aggressive. That would be
Yeah.
funny.
yeah, and
It is weird that, like,
yeah.
sorry.
Like
Go
stern
ahead.
but fair.
It does seem a little weird that he is like the movie's stand-in for Commander Towers, and even to the point that like he has this connection to Shadow and Maria, but in a completely different context. So I don't know. Maybe it'd be weird to get Commander Towers in the movies at this point because that
Yeah.
doesn't really track with anything.
Yeah, that would kind of make things even more convoluted. It's like, oh, he's there and stuff, and yeah.
But it would make sense in like certain scenes, like especially with when Shadow shot Tom when he was disguised as Walters. Like if he was disguised as the gun commander, that would like make the audience feel more leaning towards Shadow's view, like the human, the enemy, the military started all this. Like they were the bad guy sort of thing.
Well,
Like
it's
with
just a
scenes
little
like
too
that, it
nice.
would make sense to have Towers in the role.
Fair enough, I guess. But then again, if Walters is now supposed to be like the one good guy and the rest is kind of more corrupt, then I don't know. Maybe they kind of like split Commander Towers up in two characters. Like Walters is kind of his post-character development for him, like how he's now more calm and collected, while the rest of Gunn is kind of his crazy form when he was first, when he was more like Yosemite Sam, just attack, set traps after Sonic. Rah! Maybe
Here's
that's what
something
to do.
though that nobody is asking.
What?
Here is that what was Gerald up to?
That's a very good question.
He's in prison.
I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah.
Well, not after
Because
he's got
everybody's
put in
pointing
prison.
fingers at GUN saying, "Oh, this is all their fault." But I'm also wondering, like, what was Gerald up to? Like, what was he doing?
They very
Because
specifically
it-
never show him in the flashbacks up until he starts running from Gunn. So it is.
Yeah, it's like, what was he up to? Was he doing something illegal? Was he doing something dangerous?
I am
And
expecting there to
he
be
showed to
something.
be a very, very mad man.
Yeah,
So it's like, okay, for all the fingers that we point at GUN saying that they're corrupt and they have bad actors in them, which they do, I'm not denying that. It's that we never look at Gerald because we're supposed to look at him, oh, he's the victim. You know, he was the one who was attacked. He was the one who lost his granddaughter. But I have to ask, what was he doing that warranted GUN coming to the base in the first place?
That's a good question. I'm sure
He
she
He
will
tells
pick
them that
up.
they're here to take Shadow away, but did Gerald have any plans for Shadow that were maybe not such a good idea?
Yeah.
Did the,
I mean,
did the
even before.
movie
Yeah,
did
because
the
I mean,
movie ask that?
yeah, because I mean, there could be possible hints of Gerald like already having a more dark mindset. Because like when we get the first like brief explanation from Walters about who Shadow is, we get that kind of not seeing Gerald's face, just more of his hands and whatnot, and he's like eagerly holding Shadow's quill. So it does seem like he's implying that he has like much bigger plans instead of like what Gunn was originally going for.
Yeah, I actually have now that we think about this. So in the games, obviously Gerald was a good person before Maria died. But here and like as we learned in Frontiers, like Maria's death indirectly leads to Eggman turning evil in the long run. So in a sense, the same acts made them both evil. But in this movie, like Eggman had no idea about Maria. He didn't know who that was. And yet both he and Gerald are evil, implying that their evilness is just kind of genetic. Because they act exactly the same. Like they have the same ideas, the mannerisms, they think alike. So the fact that Eggman is evil in the movies is probably a case of nature versus nurture. So yeah.
And I feel very sorry for Maria. She is surrounded by sociopaths.
Yeah.
It's like she's like the only Robotnik who didn't turn out. It's like she seemed to have
15 years
avoided
old.
that. Yeah, but it's like I kind of feel sorry for her. She is like she was born into a family of sociopaths.
Maybe that's why she died. It's like, I have to get out of here. The world's too crazy for me.
Yeah, that's what they all have. in
Oh,
common.
no!
They're all dead.
Oh no,
I didn't mean suicide, but yeah.
it's okay.
I'm getting a little dark, sorry. But yeah,
Yeah,
it is
but-
kind of funny.
Yeah, I do kind of think Gerald is a bit darker in this film. And I guess it's like, well, it's funny enough, like, in this particular film, like, both Gerald and Robotnik kind of have some elements of Fleetwate's take of Robotnik. So, like, when we see Robotnik somehow survive, which we never get an explanation on how he survived the previous film, but, yeah, he's gotten real lazy, he's kind of given up. That's kind of what, like, Fleetway Sonic did. And then we have, that's like, at least a more lighter take on Fleetwate's Robotnik from the final years. And then you have Gerald, which is much more on what happened to Robotnik in the actual final years of Fleetway Sonic, where he's been so obsessed, like, oh, kill everyone, I don't care if I die along with it. Yeah, that kind of suicide quest. So I just find that interesting, especially when Gerald, like, reveals the secret that's, I'll kill the Earth, including us as well, and yada yada. Yeah, just an interesting observation.
Yeah, it is.
I did notice.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I did notice, though, that the difference between Gerald and Ivo is that Gerald wanted to destroy the world and everything, whereas Ivo, he wants to rule it. And this is kind of the same thing in the games, whereas Gerald wanted to destroy all of humanity. Whereas I think Ivo or Eggman in the games, I think for the most part, he does what he does for the lulz.
For his ego.
If that makes sense. Yeah, it's like he just wants to rule over
He
a
wants to be
piece of land. Heck,
worshipped.
he just wants to build a theme park.
He's a narcissist.
And-
He just wants to be worshipped. Yeah.
Yeah,
Also-
it's like he is.
Well,
Yeah,
Gerald's
but
just
it's like
legitimately
you can't-
angry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but
just to
for
say something here, if I can just say something for a sec about Gerald, it's like I know that this is a silly movie, like for kids for the most part, but did anyone else get like a tonal whiplash from like Gerald is supposed to be like a grieving grandfather, right? Mourning his granddaughter and wanting to kill the whole world for it, but then he goes off and does a dance off with
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a
Robotnik
complaint I was gonna bring up with Gerald. Yeah, like they're
yeah,
too
I mean-
tempted to put like we have two Jim Carreys. We have to give them a lot of silly moments. On the dance off, I can
Yeah.
forgive, but especially
Especially
during
when they enter the base and Gerald has a go at him earlier.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, my kind of take, I can kind of get with it, especially after my second viewing, is like, Gerald acting all goofy with Robotnik and whatnot. But here's an idea: what if all of that was just purely a facade? Because we kind of
Yeah.
later revealed that Gerald just really doesn't give a shit about Robotnik when he's like, "Oh, I don't want to join your plans about blowing up humanity and whatnot." But,
I fully agree. Yeah, he does that to just get Ivo on his side. Although I don't know quite sure why he needs Ivo on the space station, and it's kind of ruined that he's still acting silly during the final battle. When at that point he should just be completely off the rails. So.
Well, I suppose I could answer my own point with that Gerald is literally mad, so,
Yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
that's the
I did-
explanation. Yeah, go ahead.
I will say I did feel sorry for Eggman when Gerald looked at him and said, "You're no Maria."
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh.
That is a
Yeah.
Ooh.
that is a slap across the
Ooh,
face. Yeah.
burn up top, bro.
It was kind of weird.
I suppose Gerald needing Ivo could simply be because, two heads are better than one, especially when those two heads are the smartest people on the planet. So maybe Ivo was just like his way of having more assurance that this plan of his will actually work.
Yeah.
I guess so.
No, I do.
Yeah.
I do agree with Alex, where it's like as soon as Eggman shows up, he kind of hijacks the film,
Yeah.
and I think
Yeah.
he started to feel less like Eggman and more like Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey.
Yeah, they were a little too in love with the fact that we have two Jim Carreys. Let's have a lot of fun with that. And of course, I
Yeah,
understand.
and I don't know if it's because he's technically retired, and so
Yeah.
I don't know if this
But-
was supposed to be like this is like one last hurrah before he officially
think now
retires.
Well, I think
It
nowadays
felt
he's
like
kind of
that.
clarified that he's not quite retired. He's just more like powers, like what?
Yeah.
Power saving or something.
Yeah.
He's taking
he's
out
just
naps, I
being
guess.
way more particular about what movies he takes.
But still, I agree with Elise because Jim Carrey doesn't want to do sequels unless they challenge him. So they probably deliberately wrote all these scenes to specifically challenge him because this is something he never did before. So it's fun for Jim Carrey, but yeah, it does kind of hijack the rest of the movie. So, and that kind of causes an interesting question. Like, do we want Jim Carrey to return in future movies? Because on one hand, yeah, he is great, and of course we need Robotnik. But on the other hand, if they have to keep giving him very juicy roles like this, he's gonna keep hijacking the stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, especially after how this film ended, I feel like this would have been like the definitive way to like kill off the character. But like Jim Carrey has mentioned, I'm still active for the idea of joining in on Sonic 4. But then it's like, okay, if they're not going to explain how he survived his supposed death in the sequel, then how the hell are they going to do that? And I'm like, well, I guess they could just go the Archie Sonic way and do the whole Robo Robotnik thing. It's like, oh, they transferred his data into this robot duplicate body thing.
Well, I noticed
Yeah.
Robotnik awkwardly mentions clones to Stone, so maybe that's like them setting up.
Yeah.
I like to imagine that Robotnik secretly has like one of a warp ring on him or something and disappears at the last minute.
Sure, it's possible. Man, there's
Shadow,
there's
had
also-
something, or Shadow had something to do with it.
Yeah, there's also just the possibility that Shadow saves him last second with Chaos Control, which, real quick, I just want to point out that Chaos Control is never said in this movie.
Nope. That's-
Yeah. I think Chaos Force is mentioned, but yeah, not
They
Control.
Chaos
mentioned
Energy
Chaos-
is mentioned.
Yeah,
Chaos
Okay,
Energy,
Energy,
yeah. But they never say Chaos Control, which is interesting.
But I was sort of right when back in the first movie I said that Sonic's power was Chaos Control. I was sort of right.
Yeah,
That it was Chaos Energy.
Yes.
you were correct. You were indeed. I mean, you were partially correct because it's never called Chaos Control, but other than that, yeah, you got it.
I called it.
Oh, blast release.
Hey. Alright, and speaking of Shadow, so like, you know how we generally know, like, yeah, Shadow was like created by Gerald and also like part Black Arms that was like needed to try and perfect the project and give him Chaos Control. But then you have the movie where it's revealed that it came from a meteorite and then, Gerald like experimented on him and stuff. So it kind of, at least my theory, is that in the movie Sonic universe, it's possible that Shadow is purely a Black Arms like creature, like obviously not created by Robotnik, but a pure blood Black Arms creature.
Sure, that's possible. I mean,
Yeah.
that's probably
Yeah.
the logical
You
way
noticed-
to go. Go ahead.
I
is
noticed
what I
that the
think,
meteorite he came in looked like the Black Comet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did, yeah.
Alex,
But
oh, sorry.
oh yeah. If Alex wanted to say something, I'll let her go first.
No, I just said that this is what I believe. I think the Black Arms created Shadow.
Yeah,
That'd be
in this
cool.
universe, yeah.
But yeah, Solana,
I would be remiss to not bring this up. So we have Shadow's backstory is completely different in this movie. He's not a creation of Gerald. He just shows up in a organic mineral meteorite containing the ultimate life form with no memories whatsoever. Say it with me, folks. Is that a fucking JoJo's reference?
I'm sure it is.
No. Oh no.
He's tradition.
Of course it is.
what isn't?
Oh man. But yeah, it is weird though that they changed Shadow's backstory because like that kind of removes his incentive for like cooperating with Gunn's test. If he's not like there to cure Maria's disease, then why is he so like cooperative?
Yeah, as a matter of fact,
Maybe he wants to know. Maybe he wants to know.
Yeah,
I'm
like
sure, yeah,
you know,
okay.
because he doesn't have any memories of his past, so maybe he's like hoping, like until then, like something might jog his memory with these tests that might help make him remember where he came from and such.
Oh yeah.
It's something like
Possibly.
Space
He's
Marine.
cooperating. He's cooperating because he simped the girl.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, but yeah, now that you mentioned it, it's like, yeah, with no symptom of curing Maria and whatnot, and yeah, like in this universe, we don't even know if Maria even has an illness. She's like definitely a lot more energetic than her usual counterparts we've seen of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I absolutely love how Maria was portrayed in this movie.
Yes, best Maria.
Oh yeah.
Best Maria! Best Maria! In fact, the first thing she does when she meets Shadow is that she takes out a marker and she draws a goofy face on the glass!
I'm so disappointed we never
love
get
it.
to see it from Shadow's perspective that he also sees Maria with that same rabbit face. That would have been. I guess that's for my parents' movie to do.
Yep.
But yeah, I also liked this movie's version of Maria. 'Cause I remember when like the trailer came out and we see like Maria and Shadow in the glass chamber, and people kind of assumed that she had brown hair, and it's like, oh, maybe that's a deep cut reference to when she first appeared in RG Sonic when they colored her hair brown for some reason. But no, it's quickly revealed like, no, it's blonde. But yeah, either way, I also like this version of Maria.
Yeah, it was just
yeah.
the lighting.
Her connections with her and Shadow pretty much play off more like, oh, those rambunctious kids, getting into mischief.
I feel there was a missed opportunity, maybe even like a red herring. When we first see Maria, she is on roller skates, and that could have been like a great like interesting bit of development for Shadow. Is like he takes inspiration from her, and that's why he has the skates. But no, he's just wearing the air shoes when he first meets her. So I felt that was wasted potential.
Well, I mean, it's
I
still
would say it
possible.
just happened in a different way because now she gets to roller skate with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it's wasted. I wouldn't say it's wasted potential. I would just say it's like that gives her a deeper connection to him because now, she can roller skate with him.
Yeah.
Yes, but I'm still saying like there was potential that her love of skating could have inspired Shadow, and that would have been adorable.
Yeah. Okay.
And we miss out on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
What I really love about Maria in this, as I said earlier, is that they show, they don't tell. They show Maria has various interests. Like she likes stuffed animals, she likes music, she likes dancing, and she likes roller skating. And she's not above getting into trouble every now and then. And she will even go out of her way to break the rules just to give Shadow a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I love the bit where she making eyebrows at Shadow.
Oh yeah, it's like
he's like scowling back at her. I mean, initially she is a bit like, oh my gosh, because like, oh, he's alive, okay, and then he turns and he scowls at her, and she just takes it where she mimics him, and then she laughs. And then she just takes out her marker and draws the silly bunny face.
No. Luke was talking about when she like kidnapped him from the test, and she like peeks over
Oh,
the
okay,
counter
yeah,
and
that
does the
was
little
great. That
eyebrow.
was great too.
Yeah.
And then I'm just realizing the stuffed animal that she left in its place, it's the same stuffed bear that she had in her box when she first came to the lab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, and then of course the movie night that they had, where you get a brief cameo of BioLizard showing up in a cheesy B movie kind of movie.
Yeah. Oh, that's.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed, mostly because people that have watched me on the stream know that I've always had this theory leading up to the movie's release that maybe Gerald found like the cure and whatnot and infused himself, and that's why he lived so long. But as the movie continued on, the serum would malfunction and mutate him, and then becomes like the BioLizard at the end. But no, it's just a quick cameo. But
he did kind of mutate away.
Oh yeah, kind of.
It was more like holographic, though. It wasn't really mutation; it was holograms.
I kind of like the line Shadow says after you see BioLizard, like, I'm a monster, just like the creature on TV, which is kind of like almost implying that they are brothers, or at least playing with that idea. Yeah. Anyway, now we're talking about youth serum anyway. Like, Alex wanted to bring up a theory she had, and she has to leave soon.
Boy.
So we think there's a plot going on about that Shadow's keeping Gunn alive for longer than they should, that they all survive long. Because we know there's a deleted scene that Gerald Robotnik was explained to be still alive because he was licking the quills of Shadow, I think. They deleted that scene. What was that?
Yeah. Real quick though, Roger, you said that Shadow was keeping Gunn alive.
Well, hey, maybe that's a callback to his joke. Yeah, I am the ultimate medicine. I should be curing. I should be turning into medicine.
I should be turning into medicine.
There it is.
And
It's come full
we
circle
can't
now.
chase them.
The best way to get rid of God, just get rid of Shadow.
Yeah. Who needs Pepto-Bismol when you got Shadow? Yeah.
Well, that's literally
what about Shadow?
Say two shadows and it'll be in the morning.
Yeah.
I mean, Gerald just deliberately licking Shadow's quills to keep himself young. So apparently you must know that Shadow has some sort of essence that keeps you longer alive. So that's why they probably keep him in stasis. So they keep farming him for that medicine. So he literally is medicine to keep Gunn alive, right?
Yeah, Shadow's the ultimate fountain of youth.
Because in the Knuckles TV shows, some of the rogue agents were talking like they worked for much longer at Gunn than they should because they were kind of young.
Guys, I think Elise is going to die if we don't let her speak right now.
Should we give her a Shadow quill then?
Yeah, give her a Shadow quill.
Please, hang in there.
Use a pillow.
Give us some room.
Use your pillow, Elise. Use your pillow. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to see what we deal with, Alex. Moments like these when Elise only just bursts out laughing so much.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
a lady laughs a lot, so. Yeah, it's just, that took a turn. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, back to licking Shadow's quills then.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting. Again, it goes back to the whole Eggman and Gerald have similar mindsets. They're that's one of the first things that Ivo does when he first gets Sonic's quill in the first movie is he licks it, and then he becomes addicted to doing so, and that's even his one condition for teaming up with his mortal enemy in this movie is that Sonic gives him a quill.
And he doesn't even question it, he just immediately does it. I mean,
Yeah.
like Robotnik. Oh, I'm addicted to this. Okay, makes sense.
It's like
It's
crack. Yeah.
Yeah, and Sonic just sees the whole thing as just being weird, even though, Robotnik just loves it so much. Even when he first tried it out, he offered like, do you want to try this stone?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Man, this shit's good, man.
Oh, is that gonna be a plot in the future where all gun soldiers want to lick Sonic and Shadow all the time?
Oh my God, no.
No.
Well, I mean, now it's gonna be even more disturbing now that we have Amy. It's like, oh, now she wants to lick Sonic's quill.
Oh God, no. All right.
Marcus and butterscotch. Oh, dude.
But you know, maybe the quill that gives that DH people is only from Shadow side, since he's a black
Yeah.
arm.
Yeah, it's possible.
Maybe
Yeah.
Shadow's works different than
Also-
Sonic. True. Go ahead.
Yeah. So like, I do want to quickly clarify that, like, yes, the gun is keeping Shadow alive for a reason. They do say that in the movie. Is that Walter says that Shadow is too dangerous to be free, but too valuable to be destroyed.
Valuable.
See, that's the key,
Valuable.
because
That
they
is
don't
the
do
word he
anything
used.
with him, seemingly, so...
Yes.
But if they're farming his quill
Well,
energy, then hey, there's something going on.
I mean, maybe, yeah. It could also just be they see him as like a last resort weapon, maybe.
Yeah, kind of like the Eclipse cannon in this
But
movie.
you know, in the series Knuckles, there's that woman, that rogue gun agent.
Yes.
She's
Yes.
talking about the many years she worked for guns and now she's disappointed and blah 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 blah. But she looks rather young, and she speaks like she has a 80 years old career at gun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's weird.
yeah, maybe it's another Sonic X connection. Yeah, with the whole, at least the anime trope. It's like, oh, this character like looks young, but they've been working there for like years or whatnot. And they're considered an old hag or whatever.
Or
Whatever
the
was
youth
the trope.
the youth serum theory.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I posted a sketch I did about that
right.
in
Yeah,
the
the
chat.
live chat.
Oh, yeah, so about it's amazing artwork. Yeah.
It does look really incredible.
Yeah.
And
In fact, I thought that was like official concept art or something. Like, oh, how'd you get your hands on this?
She hacked into Paramount Plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so she was the leaker then.
She was really...
Yeah. She was the one leaking this movie and all those upcoming SpongeBob movies. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, Alex is a big SpongeBob fan, really.
The Squidward
And-
movie? Hell yes.
but you know, I was thinking about this, and that when I talked about the cool revenge movie, that would be it, because Gun needs some spanking.
Yeah.
And not just from Gerald. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I did another sketch. Wait.
Oop,
Here you
more
go.
Another
sketches.
one.
Meanwhile, heals Rabbit Shadow.
Yeah. Like that. There you go.
Oh yeah.
You've been
Ooh.
busy. All right. Let me get some.
Almost as busy as me.
Yeah. Everyone is busy except for me. I've been busy.
Yeah, how dare you, Roger, for not being busy.
How dare you, sir? Do some productive work.
Yeah, Detective Shadow looking for revenge. That'd be cool for a TV show, yeah, and going after individual agents. And he teams up with Wade, and they go.
No idea
have
who any of
adventures.
these people are.
No, he teams up with Ozzy. Yeah.
You're all
Yeah,
fan of
you
the
gotta-
theory now. We must
Yeah,
spread
it
that theory because Paramount listened to us.
I'm all for it.
Theory approved.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah.
There you go, you got
I mean, minus-
Captain
I
Fury
mean-
approval.
Yeah, I mean, might as well. Like, Paramount definitely takes, like, ideas and whatnot a hell of a lot better than Sega. Especially when, like, Sega, like, oh, let's do Sonic Forces. Let's do our own version of Sonic Sat AM. And it just becomes a poor man's version of it.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I would be more excited by this Shadow spin-off revenge movie than Sonic 4.
I mean, there is the possibility of a Shadow spin-off, so but who knows? Yeah.
But they didn't say
Paris
that
talks
they
about
would
that
do it.
actually.
Yeah.
Well, I know
A
everyone's
Shadow and Knuckles spinoff.
Oh, really? They're gonna make more shit and Knuckles?
Oh yeah, really?
Oh,
That is what is being like Idris Elba has said, like they are in talks of making a Knuckles and Shadow spinoff.
Oh no!
Oh God,
What, road trip?
I'd be down for that.
I would not.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I mean, if it's,
we'll have to
well, I
see
mean,
how
if it's
it goes.
focused, well, I mean, if it's focused on Knuckles and Shadow, then that'll definitely be interesting. Because
Can you imagine going on a road trip?
like, oh, maybe even better. It'd probably like, I don't know. This is just more of me, but it's like, yeah, there was this whole story of like Archie Sonic, where Sonic, Shadow and Knuckles were fighting over the fate of the Master Emerald for a lot of reasons. That's too much to get into. But anyway, if the movie universe did something like that, I'd be down for it.
well, here's hoping.
Yeah.
Don't need another Knuckles show. I just finished getting that last one out of my mind.
Well, too bad we're shoving it back in there.
Well, hey, maybe this time Knuckles will have more screen
okay, guys.
time.
You guys keep going on about like how in this movie the human characters have less focus. That's not true because Gerald and Ivo are human characters and they hijack the movie a lot of the time.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? I thought they were CG characters.
No, they're human characters.
No, they're anthros secretly disguised as humans. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the loophole.
Okay, every time I hear that argument, it's like, oh, the human characters got less attention. I'm just like, that. It's like, no, that is not the case. Because, like, Jim Carrey's Robotniks hijacked the movie. But everybody, and I swear this happens every single time, Robotnik, Eggman, always gets a pass.
Yes.
And it's like people say, like, we don't want any more human characters in Sonic. Okay, then you gotta get rid of Robotnik. You know, if you really believe that. I'm sorry, but that's just true. Because if you say that you don't want Eggman to go away, but you're against humans being in Sonic, then I'm sorry, that is a bit hypocritical. Because you're saying, oh, he can stay because he's the exception. How so? It's let's say, but
I mean, that's
so yeah. It's like I always found that statement to be hypocritical.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
and it really bugs me because it's like, yeah, okay, maybe humans are not portrayed the best in Sonic, but but that can be fixed and tweaked with, and honestly, I think they do belong there because Sonic has some human-like qualities that it does make sense. I would say, yes, maybe stylize the human characters, go for a more Sonic X anime-esque look, so they still look like they could fit in the same universe. But to say that they don't belong there entirely, and yet you keep Robotnik around, that's just like as I said, I just find that hypocritical.
I would argue the humans are
Only
stylized in the
ever needed
movies.
like 2 human characters.
But I mean, that's the Sonic fan base for you.
Yeah.
Racist against the human race since 1991.
Well, I mean, they could be referencing like the non-Sonic related human characters, you know, like Tom, Maddie, and such.
I did enjoy Maddie, despite this Tom in the movie, despite the short time he was in, especially when he's playing with his puppet.
Oh yeah, little Tom.
That was so random.
Tom.
Yeah, the little Tom voice sounds. Yeah, the little Tom voice sounds like something out of a Jeff Dunham sketch.
That was so random.
Also, that was so freaking out of nowhere because, like, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles have been gone for, like, a day. And Tom and Maddie have just picked up so many hobbies out of nowhere.
I think because they're just so used to how fast, like, Sonic is that they had to obviously keep up with that sort of pace, so they have ended up going through so many of those things.
Yeah.
Because
You know
of
what?
it.
I like that.
Or maybe they were also licking Sonic's quills, just like, yeah, now we're
Oh
super.
my god.
There we go.
Well, I mean, like, Tom is the most boring, pointless character. He needed something.
I disagree, but
Yeah.
I think he does play an important role in being a father figure to Sonic.
Yeah. In my house, we're pro Tom. Yeah.
Okay, real quick, shout out to Taco Master in the chat for the super chat.
Yep.
And he does bring up a great point. Agent Stone is also an exception. We stand Agent Stone here.
Yeah. We are very
Agent
pro
Stone can
Agent Stone.
stay. Everyone
Agent
else
Stone is the best addition to these movies, hands down. I want Agent Stone in canon, like yesterday. This character is fantastic. He can stay.
My wife has
So
a
if-
theory
if-
that he might replace Robotnik since he has the same skill set.
If that
Yeah.
happens, I will be fine.
In the movies,
Yeah.
anyway, not the games, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
in the movies, because
in the movies.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad that they definitely did more with Agent Stone, because the first movie didn't really give me the best impression, because like, oh, he's
Yeah.
just a lackey character, and then disappears halfway through the movie with no fucking explanation.
Re-
Although-
remember my theory from the first movie was that Agent Stone was a figment of Robotnik's imagination because he accomplishes nothing. He does nothing throughout the movie, and only one other character even acknowledges his existence. I have never been more happy to be wrong.
Although I've
I
also
felt so bad for him.
Yeah, I've also heard that in the novelization of the first movie, it's revealed that at the end, apparently Agent Stone decided to join Gunn or something. It's like, well, that's quite the retcon. But yeah,
I thought he was originally with Gunn.
no. Oh
yeah,
yeah,
he was
technically
because
he is,
Gerald or Iva was originally with Gunn, but then
Oh yeah, now I remember. It's just the way the novel does it is that instead of Walters doing the messaging and whatnot, it was Agent Stone that did it. It's like, oh yeah, thanks for keeping it a secret, blah blah blah. Which obviously that never happened in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, I heard there was a interview with Lee Majub with the other voice actor. What's it called? Jim Cummings, where he was kind of talking about the first movie, and apparently in the script, Agent Stone was a very minor role, but it's only because he had very great chemistry with Jim Carrey that they kept expanding his role. That's why he kind of felt so weird in the first movie. It was like a minor
thank you for
background
mentioning
role
that.
that was like, bigger than it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So that's why he was kind of weird in the first movie. So that was kind of like it only started to form during filming, apparently.
Yeah, he was the real goat of this movie.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely had his moments in the third film. Yeah.
With the steaming goat milk.
There you go.
Oh yeah, it's the goat milker. It's the goat milker.
It's so good. That felt so unnecessary, but I loved it.
Yeah, it was
He mocked
just comes out of
nothing for
nowhere.
no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been a
And
bit mocked.
that tearful ending at the end of the movie between him and Robotnik. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
that was
yeah,
a
I
real-
was not expecting to. I was not expecting to cry at Eggman in this movie.
Yeah.
good friends.
Just like,
Yeah.
The trailer had the line, if I can't save the world or if I can't rule the world, I might as well save it. And then he doesn't say that before he betrays Sonic, so I'm like, oh, I guess they cut that line from the movie. But then he says it at the end, and oh.
Yeah.
And just imagine if this is like Jim Carrey's final role, like the character that he played for the third time since he doesn't really do sequels and all that stuff. It's like the real send off sort of thing to
Yeah, this definitely would have been a good
Yeah.
send off to not just
would've been.
Robotnik in the
A good
movie.
exit, yeah.
Yeah, and I send off to both Jim Carrey and movie Robotnik. Yeah.
There we go, and that's the last we remember of him as an actor, getting a quill shoved up his butt until
Yeah.
he flies into
Yeah.
an energy beam.
Yeah, with his famous final words, "It's been a real break. Thanks for nothing."
it's been a bit of drag. Thanks for nothing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Real quick though, I want. Can we I don't want to know. I don't know if this is gonna sidetrack us for a long time, but can we talk about all of the little bit of fan service in this movie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Better get
I'll,
comfortable with one.
I'll
Like the
quickly get mine
Joe
out.
And this thing.
I'll
Yeah.
quickly get mine out of the way if that's okay.
All right.
There's only two things I ever wanted from this movie, and I got them, and that was Shadow using a gun and riding a motorcycle.
Yes. And he did both at the same time.
Yeah.
and
Look,
it didn't
fantastic.
feel out of place.
At all,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
it felt perfect.
Yeah, the one thing I was really hoping for was, the Live and Learn to be playing, and I definitely got my wish, and I was like, oh my god! I think the theater I was in kind of, I think the theater I was in kind of cheered yay, Live and Learn, yeah. But yeah, speaking of themes, the one thing that surprised me in this film, that it has two of Robotnik's themes, so it has the Eggman playing very briefly on Robotnik's phone hand thing and whatnot. But the other thing that surprised me is that when the Eclipse cannon is fired up,
Melty, you're disappeared?
we actually
Oh, well, always the
so that was a
greatest.
cool. So,
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Melty, we didn't hear you.
Oh, we heard him. Oh,
Oh,
but
am
you
I?
didn't. So
Do I
that means
probably?
that Maybe that means
I
the
guess you're having problems
maybe that means
now.
the stream
you are.
didn't hear him then.
Can you say it again, Melty, just in case?
So I was all fanboy of Live and Learn playing, and then the other thing that surprised me was they played two of Robotnik's theme. First one was the Eggman that plays very briefly on Robotnik's hand phone thing, and then the other one was the theme that plays in later games, with the dur, 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 dur. And yeah, it starts off slow, but then it builds up more. So that was a cool touch.
Indeed.
I also like the bit when they were planning the heist, and Maddie was picking up these hologram icons. I think they were from Sonic Mania or Sonic Origins.
Yeah, the select screen
Yeah.
from Sonic Mania. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Good game.
almost went ecstatic when Live and Learn played. And
yeah.
I heard Crush 40. I was like, yes!
Oh, it was a long time coming, but it was worth the wait.
And they did like this fantastic remix of it. And I was just on the edge of my seat and seeing Shadow and like Sonic go super together, like bros. I was like, yes. Also, this movie did something that we have not
This is
seen
better than
since Sonic X. No, it's like this we have not seen since Sonic X. This movie delivered a Super Sonic versus Super Shadow fight.
It was like something out of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Yes, it was fantastic.
Yeah, despite Izuka's claims like, oh, Sonic wasn't inspired by Dragon Ball Z, blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, fuck you, it'll live on.
It's so bad that they don't
And
really
the-
have much to do after Live and Learn starts playing. I mean, they have a bunch of guns robots to destroy, but they don't pick up a fight, and then they just hold the laser. It is kind of funny, though, that how the fates of Sonic and Shadow are both reversed and still the same as in the game. Like, this time it's Sonic who's falling to Earth instead of Shadow, and it's Shadow who teleports back into the space station instead of Sonic. So that's reversed from Adventure 2. Yet still Sonic ends up surviving and Shadow, quote-unquote, dying. So that's kind of cute reversal, inversal, I guess.
And can we just say like how I absolutely love Tails and Knuckles in this movie, how they stick by Sonic. And I also that moment when Sonic is demanding that Knuckles tells him where the Master Emerald is. Like, I've always wondered in that moment, why did Knuckles relent? And tell him. And I wonder if it's because maybe Knuckles recognized something in Sonic that he saw in himself. And he realizes, okay, I went on this journey of forgiveness and holding back my rage. I think this is something he recognized this is something Sonic has to learn as well. And he puts a lot of trust in him that Sonic will do the right thing in the end.
Yeah.
And so I gotta
sounds
say,
about right.
Knuckles, I love him in this movie, and especially when Sonic is falling to Earth, Tails is diving after him to rescue him, but then he also runs out of oxygen. And so Knuckles, being the big bro that he is, dives after them and rescues them both. And when they fall into the cornfield, he is holding them and using himself as a shield against the hard ground.
Yeah. So in
And
other
I was
words,
just like, I love this version of Knuckles.
yeah, it's one of the reasons why I still love, like, I always say, like, yeah, movie Knuckles is one of my favorites, because, after wasting a fucking decade of just Knuckles the Idiot, and, of course, Sonic Boom not doing any better, yeah. But, yeah, then movie Knuckles comes in, it's like, yeah, this guy is pretty much the MVP of the group.
Oh, also, Knuckles is afraid of ghosts, which is, like, that's an incredible callback to Sonic Adventure 2.
He's afraid of Casper of all ghosts, yeah.
Yeah.
There was no such thing as a friendly ghost.
It was also really mean of Sonic to be like, after they've established that Knuckles is afraid of ghosts, they're like, all right, let's split up. Knuckles, you go alone.
Actually, no, I think it was Knuckles who wanted to go alone.
No, it was Sonic's
it's
decision.
Sonic.
Oh, Sonic?
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah,
What a jerk.
Sonic's like, oh, Knuckles has to face his fears, that kind of deal. Maybe that was what he was going for.
Yeah.
Sonic was more
And, the
concerned
scene
with
where he turns around and casts that light on Shadow, and Shadow just goes, boo, and
Boo.
Knuckles screams. I'll be honest, I think that would put bricks in anyone's pants.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and especially like when Tails and Agent Stone get like knocked out. Like that was just like a really bone chilling moment with Shadow just like
My goodness,
silently
Shadow,
floating
where
down.
are you? The Terminator?
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, it's very rare to see Shadow use his air shoes to, like float down or whatnot. So seeing it in the movie was just like really a chilling moment. It's like, wow, and especially it's very silent too.
It's like, I mean, seriously though, like Shadow in that moment, he had just like gone full Terminator, where he's sneaking up on everybody and just knocking them out one by one. And then,
I love the scene where you see Shadow in the rain and you see them all surrounded by gun soldiers. I wonder if that's supposed to be like a homage to Keanu Reeves as John Wick.
Probably.
Oh.
I wouldn't be
Maybe.
surprised.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, I have to be honest, I haven't seen any John Wick films, so I can't say for certain.
How dare you, sir? Neither have I.
I know, I'm terrible.
Yeah.
So,
And then of course
Speaking of Shadow, I just want to say, like, so I think it's easily this is the best Shadow has been in 19 years.
yeah.
I gotta say, after Sonic Boom, hearing Shadow of all people lecture Sonic on the importance of friendship. Oh! Oh! Just
So refreshing.
absolute gold. Yeah. Chef's kiss.
and here's the
perfect,
thing,
no notes.
also here's the thing, it makes sense in that moment because he's calling Sonic out for being a hypocrite.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's,
Yes.
So yes, Sonic Prime crawled so that movie Sonic could run. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, here's the thing. Unlike in Sonic Boom, where Sonic did show that, he did care for his characters, and Shadow said, like, oh, your friendships make you weak. No, it's in this one, he's saying, you're supposed to be a hero who protects his friends, but you abandoned them. I guess that doesn't make you a hero.
Yeah.
So, it's like, that makes you just as bad as me, essentially. And
Yes.
that's like, I was like, dang!
Yeah, it's like, especially like near the end of the big five. It's like, yeah, you have me, Sonic. Come on, do it! And he's like pointing at his chest. It's like, oh damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it! I'm right here! And then Sonic
Yeah.
stops.
I'm right here. Yeah.
I wonder also if it's because, Sonic is holding him up by, his chest. And so I wonder if it's at the same time, he could also feel his heartbeat.
Probably.
I did not consider that. It was definitely, though, the callback, though, when Shadow points to his chest, Sonic remembers Tom pointing to Sonic's chest, saying, like, oh, you didn't change who you were in your heart.
Yeah.
And that's when Sonic realizes he's gone too far. Just beautiful foreshadowing. Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to they're not afraid to show him.
At least you're glitching a bit.
He was temper.
At least we didn't hear you. You're glitching a bit.
Oh my god.
Here, you.
Wait, is it me again?
Cord, what is going on?
You guys are clipping it
Okay.
out.
Sala's glitching. Everyone is glitching. Oh no. Something is wrong.
First.
Well, and this is why Knuckles is scary of course.
What's going on?
Maybe you should restart the call for a bit.
Oh, okay.
Greetings, friends.
Go.
Big
Okay.
banana. Hello.
I think we're okay now.
Man, that's definitely a first on the stream.
That was spooky.
Okay, that was all on Discord's end. That was nobody's fault but Discord.
Dad, you sleeping dingo?
Yeah.
Yeah, damn you, Sleep Dingo.
Sleeping Dingo's fault.
Yeah.
No, maybe it was Gerald. He was hacking into our Discord's live chat.
Yeah.
Robotnik's
Nah, I'm
review the
gonna play
chat.
Why, yes, it was me.
So. Okay.
So,
I do want to.
I'm sorry.
Not in the pillow.
your pillow, Elise. Use the pillow.
The pillow.
That's why
So
you got it
Benito
out.
Joe in the chat pointed out a very important line that cannot be ignored right now is the "What's his name? Tom, and then Sonic just fucking punches him to the moon.
Oh yeah.
I love that for some reason that became a meme.
Like I still love the meme. I mean, I still love the scene anyway. It's just so like,
Oh yeah.
so intense. Yeah.
God, it was like spine tingling. It was great. Just
Yeah.
that punch had so much impact on it.
Mhm.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay, I'm gonna break character here because to me, even though it wasn't said in the movie, but the moment Shadow said, "What was his name, Tom?" and then Sonic just ravages and just goes after him like, "Yeah!" To me,
Yeah.
that was his way of saying, "You bastard!"
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
oh
much.
my god. Yeah. Oh my
I am
god.
so
and-
sorry,
Hold
but
on, I
that's
got.
just the best way I could describe it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We know his
I have to
name.
play this. I have to play the sound effect because I've just heard hearing Elise saying, "You bastard!"
You're piercing. That's something.
What is the world coming to?
Also,
Oh no.
I loved during the Supersonic and Super Shadow fight. There was the Superman reference where like Sonic starts punching Shadow like across the world and like following after him. That was cool.
Yeah.
Guys, can I have a quick brief moment? Alex needs to leave soon. Alex, you want
Okay.
to say something? Oh, she's in here.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm here.
geez,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yogurt.
How Shadow knows Tom's name? I don't remember that.
Oh,
Because Sonic said Tom, you know,
Yeah.
in front of him.
He
yeah,
just-
when Shadow punched out Tom and then like Sonic showed up and he's like,
Oh,
"Tom,
okay.
what happened?"
Yeah.
That's how I knew.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch that movie. My husband is really mad that I did not like the movie as much as him.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we're on the verge of divorce.
Oh,
So
no.
I have to.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
he will be packing his bags tonight.
And the most funny about this is he's not a Sonic fan at all.
Well, then again,
On the role reversal.
well, then again, when is there a Sonic fan in the Sonic fan base? Yuck.
Yeah, but it's like the movie's cool, and I was like, but it's cooler in my head.
Shadow, the ultimate divorce maker.
I hope not.
How about instead of divorcing, you just settle on differences of opinion are okay?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's just funny that we keep arguing about that movie since we saw it. It's really funny and it's really a clash between the girls of my group versus the guy. It's a sex war. Really.
Oh
Battle
no.
of the sexes.
Out of context.
It's really funny. But yeah, I must go. I have to
Alright.
fix my marriage. So
Yes.
it was it was nice being with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess
It was
it's
nice
good.
meeting you for
Yeah.
the first time. And
Yeah,
nice meeting you
yeah.
for the first time.
Definitely.
I feel a little bit intimidated because my English is not that good with the live sessions. Like I repeat a lot of my lines when it's pre-recorded. I just wanted to say that I will do a plug because Roger and I are doing a movie. Evil Duck is back.
Oh yeah.
Oh yay!
We're working
Yeah,
Sonic
it's
Frontiers.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Some of you guys are in the movie, so you know. Yeah, we've been working on it for more than a year now, so it's big shit.
Yeah.
It's
the
about
big.
yeah, it's our biggest project. It's about Sonic Frontiers. Now it's outdated, but yeah, I think you will enjoy it. I will be back to work on it soon. No, Rogers gave me some stuff, so yeah, it's gonna be released. What do you think, Rogers? In a couple of months?
Yeah, I hope so. 2 or 3 months. We're in the final climax now. It's only about the first
Yeah.
island, so it's not even the finished Frontiers. This project's gonna take forever, but we'll see.
but it's really cool. We made a lot of work.
Yep.
It's looking great so far.
Yeah.
It's a big renaissance of Evil Doc animations and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Welcome
after
to
that we
Evil
do a
Doc.
short.
Yay.
So yeah, maybe we'll do some shorts after that because that
This one's very
yeah,
long.
like
yeah.
Roger said, it's taking forever. My husband's always talking to me about this. When will you be finished? We don't spend time together anymore.
Yeah.
You hate Sonic 3.
Yeah. No, I like Sonic 3 on the whatever console it is on now. Yeah.
I like
them.
it, but I wanted more Maria.
Maria!
Yeah, it's really funny. Always arguing about that. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna leave now. So
Right.
Alright.
Good luck.
Have
with
Nice
fun,
your-
hearing from you again.
Yep.
That's-
Thanks for stopping by. Come back anytime.
Come back
Okay.
anytime. The door's always open. Yeah.
Okay, see ya, guys.
You.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And off she goes. Wee!
Yeah.
To
Of course,
fix
that's
a
what-
marriage.
Yeah.
That's just exaggerating. It's not that bad.
I know.
That's being dramatic.
And you heard it all here in the chats, folks. Evil Doc is back. I am wet with anticipation.
Oh my gosh.
there you go.
Blimey.
Very moist.
Yeah, moist.
TMI.
Beer sweat, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, how about that
Clearly.
Chow Garden, eh?
Yes.
Oh,
The chow.
Oh my god.
What are we gonna talk
That
about?
was
The children?
fantastic.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
oh man.
I loved it. I love that like it's just like a Japanese themed restaurant, and the like dramatic moment where the lights go out and then they all come back on just for the Chow to sing "I Want You Back" by the Jackson 5 in Japanese. Oh my god, that was
Yeah.
so unexpected.
I also love the jab at Detective Pikachu.
Oh yeah.
the jab at Pokemon.
Yeah, which is quite
Yeah.
a coincidence because in Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog we had Tails dressed up in that detective getup. Yeah.
Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So hey, a murder.
I
of
have to be
Sonic
honest.
reference.
I found the Chow Garden to be very trippy, and it actually made me uncomfortable.
Oh, really? That
Yeah.
bad?
That's a Japanese for you.
No, I thought it was fine. It feels like this was something that Japan would have, but
I know it did feel very Japan. I'm gonna be honest, and when I saw this in the trailer, I'm like, "Where in the world is this?" And then when they said, "Okay, they're in Tokyo," I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that checks out."
Yeah.
But
So you're basically
It's like-
Walter's just face palming. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't face palming. I was just, if I was sitting in that restaurant, you would just see me very like huddled in on myself because. I'm gonna be honest; those big costumes freak me out. I'm okay with the little Chow dinner plate things and the desserts and the table ornaments, but those big costumes, no, thank you.
Oh man, yeah, there was quite a lot of like Chow prop sets, like plush toys and set pieces, and you know how the fan base has always been like begging Sega to bring back the Chow Garden. So I wouldn't be surprised that after this film wrapped up, a good chunk of that Chow material just ended up getting stolen and then sold online to Sonic fans.
Well, I think there was at least one Sonic fan that apparently got like a few bits of Chow Garden merchandise that was used in the film.
oh, cool.
I can't remember
Nice.
exactly what it
Nice.
was, but it's like small bits though.
Of course, we can't ignore the joke, the elephant in the room of Commander Walters goes to a restaurant other than Olive Garden
Oh yeah.
once. Fucking
Yes.
guys.
No Olive Garden references here. No.
He goes. He's like, I'll try something other than Olive Garden for once.
Yeah.
Yeah. His
Yeah,
final
like-
words being, "Tell Olive Garden, I'm sorry."
Yeah.
I've gone to
Yeah,
you."
their never-ending pastas are delicious.
Yeah.
Well, I can see why. I might. It's like, yeah, I could see how anybody could get type 2 diabetes from looking at the psychedelic gummy babies from hell.
I mean, after that scene, I can kind of imagine him just going to a Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, Commander Walters at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah. I did find it adorable with how Tails was really into the Chow Garden. Like, obviously, him suggesting to not only go there, but when the live show came on, and he's like super thrilled by it, a live show, and of course you see him just like really getting into it, while Sonic is just like, bobbing his head a bit, Knuckles just looking confused as ever, and Walter's just like, I really want to be at Olive Garden right now.
Yeah, it's one of those few times where we see Tails, actually being like a kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was cute.
The Walter's one regret: he died in the wrong restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Allie says, you think we can revive Walters with some Olive Garden pasta?
Yeah, well, just inject him with Shadow's quills, and there you go. Yeah. CPR.
No, basically just have like a bowl of pasta right by his nose, and it's like, Walters, come back to the light. Follow your
Video
nose.
game adaptation, eating food always heals you in video games, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
Olive Garden, bring your dead parents. We'll revive you.
No.
As he takes
That's
his
how
final
Joe
breath,
lasted so long.
as he takes his final breath, all that's going through his mind is, I never blew up at Olive Garden.
Yeah, cremate me in Olive Garden's pasta.
I love how Tails is really getting into the show.
Yeah.
Whereas Knuckles is like, what the frick is going on?
Yeah, I imagine that would be Blaze Rona approved if she was here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Naturally.
So back on the topic of fan service, something that I realized is like even the way they pronounce Ivo's name is fan service, because the name is supposed to be pronounced Evo, because like that is a real name, but the old cartoons always called it Ivo, and so even though Sega has like went with the Evo pronunciation in recent years, in this movie they call him Ivo as a reference to the old cartoons. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't remember him ever being
I-
called Evo in any of the games. When was he referred to that?
No, not in the games, but in the Twitter takeover a couple of times.
Oh, right. Fair enough. Sorry, Melty, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I just think compared to the two names, I just think Ivo just sounds a lot better.
It does, yeah.
Sounds more intimidating, yeah.
Yeah. Ivo
And-
Robotic. Yeah.
I do want to talk about I do like the character development that Robotnik went throughout these movies, because he started out as being like this evil Ace Ventura character to becoming more like Robotnik in the games, where like he would side with Sonic as his friends if things don't go well with him, and he does go out kind of like a hero. Also, something I also want to bring up that Ewan can back me up on this. But when we attended college, we had a tutor who looked exactly like movie Robotnik, because he was bald and he had like the same sort of moustache. I don't know if you remember him, Ewan. Mark Shed?
Trying to recall, but it's been quite a while.
Because I can always remember him like he was bald, he had that huge moustache, and he had like a red shirt on sometimes as well. So every time I see him, it's like, oh my god, it's Robotnik.
Oh, that's nice.
Obviously, like in the alternate timeline of where he went back to being a teacher.
Yeah, he became an animation tutor.
Yes.
But it is kind of interesting how Robotnik is a lot more vulnerable in this movie. Like in the first movie, it's all about like he's just completely cold or robotic. Well, here around Sheriff Robotnik, he's always kind of sad or kind of like a small child. Like he's very vulnerable in this one. So, I mean, I guess
But maybe after so many defeats that he's been getting, it's like bruised his ego a bit. So now he's just like sulking a bit. It's like he's lost that sinister edge he once
of course
had.
it makes sense. But yeah, that's what I mean with really get a character arc. Like he's really like a different character here, which I guess is probably what they had to do to get Jim Carrey back. But Melty, what did you say?
But yeah, like with this film, as I mentioned before, it was kind of more like a lighter take on Fleetway Sonic and during their final years on how they handled Robotnik, where, you know, after getting a taste of ultimate power and everything, and they just kind of gave up. And it's like, yeah, the movie does that, but we do see more of it. Like, he's kind of given up after the whole Master Emerald fiasco, but then gets back into action. And then the whole vulnerable thing with Gerald, it's like, well, he always considered himself as a lonely child for so long, but now that he actually has a blood relative, and, you know, he's super excited to, you know, have a family, you know, the family he never had, even if it's a crazy one. But yeah.
Of course, I don't fully understand why. It's just interesting, that's all I'm saying. Like, we get a whole different Robotnik here in this one. It is kind of sad that when he's finally in his actual Robotnik outfit, he's never actually the villain again. Like, Sonic doesn't even have a fight. I don't think Sonic even ever sees him in his new outfit. Like, the only time Sonic gets to see him is when he just goes after Shadow for a split second. After that, they never interact ever again. That's a bit of a waste.
Yeah, that is kind of a shame with the new outfit. It's like, yeah, it's finally more game accurate too, or at least modern Robotnik's design, but it doesn't show up until like near the end of the film. Still, it's a cool outfit.
Yep, I'm glad to see.
I think I was a little disappointed that in the third movie, Robotnik's was started and as glorious as it was in the end of the first movie or the second movie. I think they just tailored it so that Jim Carrey has more of an easier time wearing it.
Well, I mean, after playing with the Grinch, I'm sure he's not a fan of dealing with like so much hair makeup. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just a tash.
I'll mention
mighty
one
tash.
last thing on, if I may mention one last thing on the fan service. Sorry, is that the post-credit scene with Amy and the Metal Sonics. That was the second of the two things that I wanted from this movie.
Oh yeah, so yeah, the whole Metal Sonic bit that definitely surprised me. It's like, oh, okay, it's Metal Sonic, but he's like actually looks like his game counterpart, because you know we kind of already, I imagine we all kind of assumed that if Metal Sonic would show up, he would have like his own unique design, but no, they decided to go with the game design, and then of course
I was so glad that they showed up. Because like to have Shadow show up before Metal Sonic and Amy, it's just like it just didn't seem right to me. So I'm glad that they showed up at some extent in this movie.
Yeah, and the fact that there's like a whole army of Metal Sonics, I take it that made you very, very happy.
Well,
yeah,
because it was like, you know, cause like seeing Metal Sonic, it's like my boy, and then when I saw all the Metal Sonics, it's like my boys,
my boys,
and then my girl,
yeah,
yeah, Amy.
Amy looks great.
Oh yeah. Definitely nice look, especially with how detailed the hammer is.
Yeah. It's we've seen Sonic with blue arms so many times now over the years throughout the Boom and the movies.
Yep.
But it's weird seeing Amy with pink arms for once.
Yeah.
I think it's just me, but I did kind of find Amy a little bit off model. But then again, like in the previous movies, when Tails and Shadow turned up, they do look a bit off model. So when the fourth movie comes out, they'll probably like tweak her a little bit.
Yeah, they'll most likely update her design. Yeah.
I think she looks absolutely pretty.
Yeah. I'd be fine if there was only minor touch-ups to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, we still have the big question: who is gonna voice Amy in the upcoming future? Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, because honestly, I don't know. I don't really keep track of like current day like movie actresses and whatnot, and so yeah, I don't know who would be. Oh, wait, here's an idea. Maybe like bring back the gal that voiced Amy in Sonic Prime. I mean, she could be interesting.
I kind of hope they just grab
Shannon Chen Kent.
I hope they grab just the voice actors, because if they keep having like big Hollywood actors, it's going to be very difficult to keep making sequels of shows. Because then they keep having to send tons of money for them. So if they're smart, they just give her Go ahead.
I'd be down for Lisa Ortiz coming back to reprise her role.
Yes.
Amy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Which one's the Sonic X one or?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely all for that. Yeah, bring her back as Amy.
Yeah.
Sure. So let Tails and Amy be the originals. Yeah, go ahead, Sella.
So, first off, Shannon Chen Kent, the person who voiced Amy in Sonic Prime, funny enough, she's already appeared in the movies. She was the bartender in the first movie.
Oh yeah, that cameo she had, yeah.
Yeah. Also, so like when Shadow was first revealed after the Sonic 2, you know, everyone's like, all right, who's gonna voice him? And I said, and from the beginning, that like Jason Griffith was the correct choice. But if they had to get a celebrity, the only acceptable one was Keanu Reeves, and I'm so glad that was him. Now that we're having the same question with Amy, I'm giving a similar answer, where Lisa Ortiz is the correct answer, but because they're probably just gonna do another celebrity, I think it should be Kimiko Glenn. Because
But
like
if it's-
she
Who dat?
she's been in a lot of things. She was in DuckTales. She's in she's in Has-Been Hotel. But like her voice would work very well for
Alright.
for Amy.
But if we go for a real good long time voice actor, if I had my choice, it would be Kristen Wiig.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. But
Oh
yeah,
right, Melty. She was Izzy in MLP: A New Generation.
Oh yeah, movie Izzy. Yeah, the definitive Izzy
Yeah.
voice. Yeah.
Yes.
I
I
can
think
imagine
another
her.
good voice actor would be Mae Whitman.
Ooh, that's
Ooh.
Possibly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can't really think of
knows?
who I would pick. Like the only one that I can think of who I would not pick is Scarlett Johansson. Because I don't know, I don't really see that voice fitting with Amy.
Yeah.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd take
Rude.
Scarlett Johansson over Aquafina, which I think everyone can agree on.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, no Scarlett Johansson as Amy. It's like Rouge, maybe, like movie Rouge, possibly, but yeah, not Amy.
I could see that. Yeah.
What about Daisy Ridley or something? She has kind of like that naive, girly voice.
Now I've got a very, 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 very important question.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Is Silver going to show up in the fourth movie?
Gotta be the lucky.
Depends. The moment people think it's going to be either Sonic CD or Sonic Heroes adaptations, in that case, no. But we'll see.
It
Well,
depends
travel
on if promotional images for Sonic 4 have Maddie wearing white and cyan.
Big comes up in 6. The Chaotix in
Because
7.
apparently that trend that someone pointed out is just true. In the first movie, Maddie was wearing yellow, and Tails shows up in the post credits. In the second movie, she's wearing red and black, and Shadow shows up in the post credits. The third movie, she's wearing pink.
Yeah, there was one instance where she was wearing purple, like that brief glimpse where she's at the hospital,
Yeah.
watching over Tom. So of course people are like, oh, maybe that'll bring Blaze into the next movie, but who knows?
Yeah.
That'll be
I'm
movie
definitely
8.
I'd definitely be all for Blaze showing up in movie Sonic because
Yeah.
man, that poor gal needs the love and attention that Sega's neglected her for like 20-something years.
Yeah, I am all for Blaze showing up, but it's like alongside Silver. And something else is that Knuckles showed up in movie 2, even though he was not in the after credits. So I don't know. Maybe if the next trailer for the fourth movie comes out and Silver's in it, then it's like, yeah. But I am going to lower my standards because I've been burned too many times.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still waiting for Rouge.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Rouge too.
Yeah, people
I
made
think
up.
okay. The problem with the Sonic cast is that I believe that this is both a blessing and a curse. Is that there are a lot of characters,
Yeah.
and everybody wants to see their favorite character
Yeah.
on screen now. But it's a matter of who do you introduce next?
Yeah, and not just the games.
this
it's
point.
like,
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
not
much
just
the
the
MCU at
games,
this point.
Yeah, I mean, okay, obviously in the second movie you had to introduce Tails and Knuckles because they're part of Team Sonic. It's a no-brainer. Shadow, second most popular character, shows up at their movie, no-brainer. But then you got the other movies with the other characters, and they're now, I feel like we've entered the realm where the popularity of characters kind of like blends into each other. So people say, oh, I want to see Rouge, or I want to see Silver, or I want to see Blaze, I want to see the Chaotix, I want to see this person and this person and the other person. So
Search
now I
dependent.
think
Yeah. I mean, we kind of got the
Eh.
Chaotix. I mean, we
I
kind of
think
got the
over.
Chaotix from that prequel comic, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And of
But
course, the
yeah,
thing is,
it's-
which character brings in like a story? Like Knuckles and Shadow, they aren't just characters; they immediately bring in all the lore and the backstory. Well, like an Amy doesn't really bring in any kind of story narrative. So of course, the movie 4 can change that. But I think Silver and Blaze are the only ones that really like bring in like a story energy as well. Everyone else is just kind of like, oh, here's another main character. Like putting the chaotics in there doesn't. Oh, the movie's got to be about this and this. It's just like, okay, guess now we have detectives running around, but they don't really bring a narrative. So I guess that's also part of it. But we'll see. That's why
Another reason why I.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
That's
No,
why
you go ahead.
I'm not sure if Amy and Metal is just going to be the only characters in movie 4, because I don't think they really carry enough like clout to be really you have to watch the movie because they are the big characters. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you do make a good point about like Silver and Blaze, them bringing a narrative with them, or like there are some characters that just have the capacity to carry a story more than others, and that's not to say that the other characters don't matter, because they certainly do. They add garnish and they add flavor to the story because it gives the main characters someone to bounce off of, and they also help push the main character along their story, which I would say Tails is one of those characters where he doesn't need to be in the spotlight. He doesn't need to have a big, in-depth story. He just needs to have a basic one, but he's there to help push other characters along in their story.
that's true,
And he's a solid enough character on his own. So,
Yeah.
but he works best when he's helping other characters in their stories.
sure.
Yeah.
And then the
At
whole
least that's
idea-
kind of how I see him.
And the movie too, because they
Where-
never gave him a backstory. Otherwise, he just dropped in with the.
They did give him a brief backstory by saying that.
Space
by telling
Internet
him
showed
that
me what
everybody-
happened in movie 1 and 2, so I'm your sidekick now. Okay, bye.
yeah. But yeah, then back to the whole
Okay.
bit about people wanting like, oh, I want to see this character and whatnot, and not just the games, but it also extends to like other official Sonic media. Like how many times have you heard the old shell nut of like people begging Sega and whatnot to bring back Sally Acorn and the Freedom Fighters? Aside from me, or at least some
Well,
reference.
considering Amy and the group of Metal Sonic seem to be a focal point of the next sequel, I'll make my prediction that the group of Metal Sonics would be led by Mecha Sonic. Who's controlling him? I don't know.
Like
Yeah.
Emperor Metallics.
Oh, yeah, Emperor
Dog.
Metallics, yeah.
I
Okay,
was wondering though, actually, if Gerald Robotnik actually didn't die when he hit Shadow's energy, but the Shadow's energy kind of distorted time.
Oh,
So
yeah,
when he
that
hit
is-
it, he got displaced in time instead.
Yeah, that is a possibility,
Mm.
because, with Metal and Amy, they first appeared in a story that involved, Sonic and the gang going after the Time Stones and whatnot, so that could be another interesting idea. Like, what if the fourth movie's gonna have some time travel shenanigans with the Time Stones? But
Yeah, we
And-
definitely.
What if that's where we get? Oh, wait. What if that's where we get Eggman Nega?
oh, I definitely didn't see
Oh.
that.
Ooh,
I
combining
like
Sonic
that.
CD and
Yeah.
Sonic 06. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah, Gerald becomes Eggman Nega. Now,
Yeah, I
that's
did
an
feel he was
interesting
like that in the movie. Yeah.
Although they're probably
Yeah.
gonna
If
give him a
that's the
different
case, then
name.
that would be more of a reason for you to bring in Silver and Blaze, because he's their antagonist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think
Yeah,
they
no
still
more
call
than-
him Eggman Nega because it's so close to a forbidden word?
No, they'd definitely call it something else, especially
Yeah.
since that exact reason has become a meme.
Yeah, like I already kind of explained it in when I did an Archie Sonic character files on the character. It's like, yeah, like the name is like obviously supposed to be like more in the phrase of like negative and whatnot, like Negaduck, the evil counterpart to Darkwing Duck. But of course,
Yeah.
it doesn't quite work with the character because he's still evil, maybe more evil than Robotnik, but I don't know.
I could see him maybe coming back as like maybe Neo Eggman.
That sounds better.
Oh yeah, Neo Eggman. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that
I
would
just really
sound.
don't-
I think that would sound even. That would sound. Would be a good compromise where you still get that.
Yeah, because like
You still
honestly,
get
I
that
don't get
distinction, but there's no negative connotation.
Yeah, because like honestly, I don't really understand why Sega can't just simply, rename a character and whatnot. They had no issue with like the whole retcon of like classic Sonic back then, though supposedly that was just more of a case of bad writing and bad communications and whatnot. And
they-
yeah, and
They've renamed a character recently, Neck.
Oh yeah, that too.
well, I mean, he
based
was
on
kind
the
of
name
referred
he
to
already
as. Yeah, he already had the name back then, but yeah,
Well,
the whole thing.
Yeah, but he was
thing-
he was Neck. He was Fang the Sniper. Now he's Fang the Hunter.
Oh, fair enough.
So
Yeah, and apparently
they're
now
fine
he's-
with changing a character's name.
Yeah, and apparently, gender, or at least species, apparently, because now instead of a weasel, he's been retconned into being a Jabora, which supposedly that was the original intention for the character.
Yes,
The only problem is if you
and
call
I
him, like,
definitely see it.
Yeah, if you call him Neo Eggman, then Shadow, of course, has to call out his name for being stupid, because for obvious reasons.
Of course.
Neo, what a stupid
But
name.
hey, that's the best compromise I could come up with.
Neo Eggman, sure. Let's go with that.
Yeah, and also, yeah, Neo just kind of has a more powerful phrase than, the Nega thing, Neo, kind of like Dr. Neo Cortex, has that kind of power.
Yeah,
That kind
sure.
of
I was hoping to see, like, maybe in a future Sonic movie that I haven't seen Sonic consider as, like, has he ever thought about revisiting his old home of South Island? Because the echidnas are gone now, so he would maybe, like, take Tom and Maddie there to show what his world was like. Because they have a bit more money now, so perhaps now we could actually see the characters go off-world.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think I've heard rumors that like the movie producers or makers or whatnot, it's like, oh yeah, we'll have like more Sonic characters in like outside of the human world kind of deal. But yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of like with like old Doctor Who. Like if they don't have much money, they have most of the episodes grounded on Earth, like in the first series of the new series, and then in later series we get to see the Doctor go to other planets.
Oh yeah, because hey, I was thinking more of like the third Doctor's era, where he was banished to Earth for a time.
Exactly, that's probably why.
Here's
You go on.
Something I just thought of. We haven't seen Chaos yet. So I'm wondering if maybe the fourth movie they would bring Chaos if they did go back to South Island or they did go back to Sonic's home planet.
That'd be interesting. Of course, if that's the case, then yeah, obviously they'd have to give Chaos a whole brand new backstory because obviously he's not trapped in the Master Emerald now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and what if they find out that he's the reason why the Owl and Echidna clans have been wiped out?
Oh yeah, there's another idea. Maybe they can also incorporate Chaos's backstory from Fleetway Sonic, which that was also completely different from the game's take.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, weird freaky fish people that turn into things. Yeah. Or
Yeah, and he
something like
talked.
that. Yeah, and Chaos has the power of speech in that universe. Yeah, that'd be cool.
But yeah, writers did say they were talking about space, so I guess we'll go there eventually.
I hope they also bring in like Black Doom in the future because like they could build him up like as the Thanos of the Sonic movieverse.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wouldn't Mephiles be more of the Thanos of the Sonic universe?
Yep.
Do?
Yeah.
Solaris, yeah.
Oh yeah, and Solaris. Yeah. Or
All of them.
Dark Gaia. Yeah, with Cell it'd be Dark Gaia. Yeah.
Yeah. At the end.
I'm definitely already seeing people hyping themselves up for the potential of Sonic, Shadow, and Silver teaming up to take down Solaris in the movies, in like Sonic 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still plenty of stuff to
he
do
will be
up
full of
until
glitches.
they. But yeah, as soon as they run out of Sonic 06 and Unleashed, they're gonna be very dry. Nobody's waiting for Sonic Colors of Lost World to be adapted. Poor
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, because
The
no one
movie
gives
will
a
be
fucking
filled with
shit about
loading
Sonic
screens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure if people are really that keen about seeing like movie versions of the Wisps, because especially after Sega got real addicted.
All the
to
Deadly
showing
Six.
everything. Oh no. Yeah, fuck them.
I would say, I was going to talk about Shadow, but I'm going to be honest, before I saw movie 3, I was getting Shadow fatigue because he was just everywhere and they weren't doing anything with him.
Mhm.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just we're hyping him up because, the movie was coming out. But
Well, it's also the Year of Shadow. Yeah.
yeah, I know it's the year Shadow, but as I said, I was getting Shadow fatigue because it was just, especially in Shadow Generations, we were just doing the same song and dance over and over again with his story. Despite his whole story being about how he's leaving the past behind, but he keeps getting thrusted back into it to do the same song and dance.
Yeah, that's the problem with Team Sonic. They don't want to grow or explore. They have no curiosity. They're just, okay, Maria and Gerald are back. Like, okay, and then what? And then they just die again. It's like, what was the point?
Yeah, and even Shadow brings up the possibility in his own game, like, maybe I can change their fate.
But
And
then,
it's like, they don't really explore that all too much. It's like, Shadow just accepts it, instead of him fighting as hard as he can, and it doesn't even show him questioning what the ramifications would be if he does change their fate.
agreed, but it's not Shadow's fault. It's Sonic Team's fault. I mean, Frontiers wasn't about Shadow and had the same problem. Like they have story ideas, but it doesn't go anywhere. I think that's just a Sonic Team problem.
Yeah, but I, as I said, I still feel a little bit of Shadow fatigue, but that's mostly on the game side. Whereas with a movie Shadow, I really love what they did with this character. I felt like they did bring something new with it. They did tell kind of the same story again, but not exactly.
And they explored it
And-
further. They showed more details. So.
Yeah, they really
Yeah,
had
they
it.
did.
And not just by
And-
adding new brothers and sisters that don't matter, but like actually exploring the story. So that helps.
Yeah, and now I know people are starting to say like maybe the year of Silver is around the corner, which I would be all up for. And if like they did a Silver Generations, I was thinking maybe it's about him, going back. It's like since time is now being distorted, the forgotten timeline of Next Gen is reemerging, and so he meets up with Blaze and Elise again, and I think that would be pretty cool. And he has a bit of a more hopeful ending with his, where he is reunited with Blaze. They both remember the hardships that they went through and remembered like who they were as friends, and Elise is also able to remember her past, and then it's like they don't bring the timeline back, but they at least bring back the memories.
That would be very
And
neat.
so-
That the movies at least finish what the game should have done. Yes, Melty, go.
Yeah,
ahead.
or the game. I'm talking about Silver Generations. If they did decide to do another add-on to
Alright.
Generations, see what Silver
Yeah.
was up to.
Sure.
Well, I mean, if there was a supposed Year of Silver, then wouldn't that be for next year? Because, I mean, this year is, some would argue, it's like, oh, it's the Year of Blaze because, 20th anniversary for Sonic Rush. But, of course, knowing Sega, I'm sure they're not going to do anything special with that. But yeah, like either way, I'm still glad that like movie Sonic is a thing, and like Elise mentioned before, it's like something we really needed because with Sonic Team's incompetence has just become so tiring, and yeah, and IDW is not really doing any better. It's ever since they become like more mandated, like we got to be more closer to the games because quote unquote canon, and it's just become such a bore to get through. Like
Yeah.
even after like 75 issues, like that whole big milestone is like something tragic happens to a location we've seen a few times, and I just felt nothing. There was just nothing to really pique my interest. And honestly, I've just been thinking of dropping IDW entirely because I've just become so bored by it.
Yes, I did that because they're not even moving forward. They seem to be still stuck in the mindset of Sonic Forces. I mean, I thought they would bring in stuff from Sonic Frontiers by now.
Yeah, I mean, hell, they can't even be bothered to bring Sage or do anything special. It's like, yeah, because I mean, like, okay, so Sonic games, they want to be more closer to the games. Okay, fine. The games have like 30 plus years of history. There's more than enough material to like revisit like topics that have been established or characters, locations, do more with that stuff. But no, like, the IDW side just does like the bare minimum. It's just, Sonic and his friends on a wacky adventure for the umpteenth millionth time with generic stuff. And I know there's like, but what about Surge and Kid? But it's like, I don't know. Knowing me, I just kind of consider Surge as just knockoff Scourge. But yeah, that's just me. So at this point, yeah, movie Sonic's always been my top tier for current official Sonic media. IDW is really falling behind, and games, well, they are the games. Yeah.
Agreed. I hope something
we still
changes.
got-
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Maddie.
Are we still talking about Sonic 3 or?
No. No, we're still talking about Sonic. This is still the part where you talk about Sonic's character. We need to move on.
Yeah.
Technically.
All right, let's talk about Tails.
Yeah.
Yes, Tails. Yeah, two Tails.
Yeah, I do like they're doing more with him in this movie. I love the bit where during the holographic simulation where we see Sonic die, he just pipes up, "Congratulations, you're dead."
Yeah, that was great.
There was that part where like they're going over the plan to enter the gun headquarters, and I hate this kind of dialogue. Tails is like, "All right, everyone knows what to do," and then he explains what everyone needs to do anyway.
Oh
Just
yeah.
because the audience doesn't know. It's like that's you could have done that any other way.
Yeah, all was missing was just him looking at the camera when he said that.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone up to speed?
Oh
Here's
yeah.
a rundown.
Oh yeah. Speaking of looking at the camera, yeah. How about that whole deal with Geraldine Robotnik breaking the fourth wall?
So
A bit
that's
too
a
on the
surprise.
nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like that, and that whole bit with Sonic doing a quote from Sonic Adventure 2 just kind of felt like the awkward moments in my
Yeah. Well, I liked the Adventure 2 quote though. It was a little forced, but it did fit, and I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
At least it was.
Well,
I'm looking at my notes, and I just remembered this hilarious moment when Tom is like disguised as Walters, and Rockwell is like surprised to see him. She's like, Commander Walters, you are. He's like, still alive? I'll die before I let that key fall into the wrong hands. It's like, what a poor choice of words. He did die.
As far as we know.
I remember one weird moment where, as Shadow gives the key to Gerald, the Robotnik just randomly says, "Now we have the keys," and Gerald just looks at him with a very awkward look, like it's like he wasn't scripted. Wasn't he supposed to be in that day?
Well, maybe he just got really addicted to that one episode of Sonic Underground, with a stupid gold key card thing to control everything.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I have the magic cookie. Yeah.
Yep. God, that was one of the funniest moments of basically our careers on this show. Was that fucking golden key card.
Okay. Well, we've been at this for I think about 3 hours, so
Yeah,
I think we better. I think we better call it. I think we better call it.
Yeah,
Alright,
so-
final thoughts.
well, I
I
mean,
guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's close to 2 hours and 30 minutes, but yeah, let's wrap up with our final thoughts. Yeah. And maybe do it alphabetical order this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awkward. So
Which obviously
Oh,
means
that-
Melody comes before Luke, right? Yeah.
Actually, that means I go first.
Yeah, I already fixed the list there, so Luke actually comes first before me. So
Wow.
yeah, since Alex is gone, then Elise goes first with her final thoughts.
Okay, my final thoughts. I really enjoyed Sonic 3. I think it had really solid characters. It had a great message, and the final fight was amazing. We got to see a Super Sonic versus Super Shadow fight, and despite my issues with Jim Carrey stealing the show too many times, I do think this was a solid addition. I still prefer. I think the second movie is better paced and is a bit more solid in story, but this one was very close, and it was a very good sequel, and they did Shadow justice
all right, good.
in this movie. So yep,
Yeah.
and as I said, I give it an 8 out of 10.
Not bad.
Ah, nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you and Sia, final thoughts.
Well, sorry, I had to get comfortable again. Yeah, overall, I still enjoyed this film. I mean, sure, again, still some issues, but overall, I still enjoyed it, and I was liking the sort of references I could notice, even if some of them were very, very hard to hear. Like how the City Escape song was in the film itself, but yet
Yes,
how it
I
was
still don't hear it.
orchestrated, it was. I mean, I could vaguely hear it, but only up until the point when Sonic is just literally on Tower Bridge, and then it goes, "Da, ba, ba, la, da," and then it just suddenly goes to a more dramatic moment because he's about to hit the shield.
Ah, yeah.
Is there too much Jim Carrey in this one? I might as well say a bit. I feel like one Jim Carrey is more than enough. I think we realise what happens when there's like two of them. It's just like a little bit too crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, as everyone kept saying, like the last 30 minutes were like top shelf, and I do agree with that. Like the whole Supersonic fight and such is like, and everyone's saying like, now we know we can make a Dragon Ball Z type movie because this movie showed us how we could do it. So now we just got to copy that, but replace everyone with Dragon Ball Z characters. So basically just that. Can't really think on the top of my head of any other sort of negatives. I mean, there's probably is. So but yeah, overall, still enjoyed it, and since Elise gave it like a rating, I'll give it 9 revenge guacs out of 10.
Revenge guac. That's gonna be
Yeah,
a meme.
revenge. Yeah.
Revenge guac.
Do you serve revenge guac on the side with evil ham, or
No, I just eat it whole.
Alright. And Luke, now it's Luke's turn.
I get
for
it.
Final thoughts.
Okay. Yes, I enjoyed it as well, especially how it feels more like a proper Sonic movie, especially during the final fight. And yeah, I'm more of a fan of the Jim carrying up the movie. I think it's because I'm very nostalgic for Jim Carrey. It's his wacky antics in the movie. But yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I would probably say, I'll give it an 8 as well.
Alrighty.
All right. Yeah, and all right, now it's my turn. So yeah, as I said before, I really like this film. It was pretty much peak, and yeah, it always surprises me when it turns out like the second sequel to a film is like really good and whatnot. Because that's always kind of been a curse that they always come out bad or just blah. But yeah, I really liked it. Really loved Shadow's take on this film, and yeah, Jim Carrey. It's like Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey, but it's like I'm fine with it. I guess I'm a little more nicer than most people here. But yeah, I really like it. Looking forward to the new upcoming Sonic 4 and the future of the movie Sonic universe. And yeah, so as for my rating, I want to give it a 10, but no, to be fair, I'll give it a 9. So yeah, 9. Ah, crap, now I gotta think of a different, 9 Chow Gardens out of 10. There.
Alright.
And now it's
You're
Roger's
next,
turn.
Roger.
Alright, yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It has the right essence, right energy. It's pretty good. Minus some little Gerald Urbanic issues, but other than that, I had a great time. And next time I'm in London, I'm expecting Ewan and Luke to have a big Robotnik shrine somewhere at the Shed Thames area.
Oh no!
Kissing the ground everywhere the characters went.
I mean, I can bring along the little shadow figurine I've got, and then just have him just stand in the locations.
Yeah,
Or maybe I should just get like the Robotnik figure and just have him pose like London, baby.
Yeah, you
And
actually
whilst
went there, right?
awkwardly just staring at the real location of where his viewpoint is, because it's all the way towards like Tower Bridge as opposed to looking across the Thames.
Oh well, still a great shot. Anyway, I had a good time. 8 out of 10, and there you go. Next.
Salah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I freaking loved this movie. I think it's the best one in the series so far. This is easily the best interpretation of Shadow we've had since 2006, which is sad. I mean, Prime Shadow did pretty good, but he doesn't hold a candle to Keanu Shadow.
Yeah.
I love this movie. I do have some gripes with it. I feel like making Maria's death an accident takes away a little bit of the impact, but that's a minor gripe, honestly, and I would still give this thing no less than a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, and finally, Tim. Or Timba, yeah.
The
Timber.
most negative of us all.
Yeah.
They call her Tim.
Agent Stone was the goat milker. There's not enough Shadow in my Jim Carrey movie. 0 out of 10 Olive Gardens. This movie sucks. It should die and go to hell. I don't like it. Mufasa was better than this. That's it.
So basically,
Oh.
you're
Okay.
Commander Walters in the picture. Like, ugh.
Yeah. That's all
Yeah,
of us, and then that's like Timber in the left being like, ugh.
Yeah, so Timba gives it 0 Walter face palms out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah. Venus doesn't face palm at all.
Oh, and something that Thomas Proctor mentioned in this movie that I really love is the light shines even when a star is gone. I really love that quote.
Yeah.
That's good.
Like, yeah, and I love how that's kind of the message of the film, where it's like someone you love may be gone, but their light still shines. And hey, this story had a better usage of stars than Wish.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
One thing I have to be honest, every time I kept hearing Maria saying they're like diamonds, and I'm just like, the diamonds in the sky.
Like diamonds in the
Diamond.
Lucy in the sky with diamonds.
I mean, I'm just like, when I hear her saying diamonds, I'm just like, in the sky? In the sky, you're going to say it? Don't leave me hanging. And she left me hanging. I was like, no!
Traversity, that is.
Yeah.
Oh well. So, guess it's time to sign off. Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah, goodbye, and look forward to Sonic Movie 3 Dissected in whenever it feels like coming out.
If I make a new video. There's a couple things I didn't have time to discuss, so maybe I will. I don't know.
Well, hopefully it doesn't end up getting cursed like the previous episodes you did.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, bit more positivity in the future.
Yeah, but I mean, not just that, but also like production-wise in general, because like the first one got taken down by Paramount because too much footage, and then the second one was stuck in development hell, mostly due to computer problems on Roger's end. So hopefully nothing goes wrong this time.
He said convincing. Absolutely.
Well,
But yeah,
better sign off now.
Yep.
Yeah, goodbye.
Cheerio,
See you
you
guys
lovely
later.
people.
See you guys
Bye.
later.
Toodaloo.
Yeah, goodbye, and good night. Or good morning, whatever.
Who did that?
What the hell?
It was melting.
Oh,
here.
Melting! I am betting it was
No, I
melting!
didn't do that.